What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique, aka UniqueMazique, the hardest working man in sports and gaming. How y'all feel? What's going on, Nelson?
I'm here with the most unique man in sports gaming entertainment
Say it again.
and
Yeah.
Mazique.
Okay. See, this is why. This is why we don't talk. This is why. This is what happens.
Oh, I hope everybody was in here for that debate.
That was just terrible, horrible things going on. And that's why people don't like you. All right. So
I am excited and thrilled to be here, Mazique.
yes, good. Okay, guys. We talked about this last week. I don't know how many people paid attention, which y'all might not have because y'all know how y'all are. Y'all don't pay attention to stuff people be saying. So, but we're here. It's time to do the watch party. We've never done this before. We didn't do any type of run throughs, anything like that. I see we got Tim Hamer Jr., Big Heck Money, Ali Hassan Mirza, 1989, all in here, and at least 4 other people who are not talking, but that's okay. We love y'all quiet selves anyway. So yeah, we're gonna do this watch party for game 1 of the NBA Finals. We're gonna see what
100%.
happens. We're gonna see what happens, y'all. We're gonna see what happens. Yeah, how about that? While we still looking at little vignettes that they showing, whatever they're showing. How about the fact that it just leaked? I don't know how many of y'all saw it. I just put a article up about it. That Dwayne Wade is the Legends Edition cover athlete for 2K20.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome on the heels of his retirement.
Yes.
Although I would also have liked to have seen Dirk get an edition.
Yep, I put that in my article. I thought that might happen. That Dirk might get, maybe that they would share the cover type of a thing.
Yeah. It's
But
interesting. I think the Dirk Dwayne relationship in terms of their rivalry in the finals, they're retiring at the same time,
right.
their various legacies with their same teams.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not really talked about a lot, maybe because
Yes.
Dirk's a big and
I
Dwayne's
think
a
it's
two
the I
guard.
think it's the LeBron effect. Like not much,
Yeah,
not any non LeBron related storylines got a lot of shine over the last 10 years.
yeah, but I think
Yeah.
that's an underrated. I wouldn't call it rivalry, but it's an interaction.
Yes, their careers are connected forever.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. I don't know what other connection you can draw and say, oh, this is similar, but it's yeah. So we're about underway. On my screen here, but I don't know. Y'all have to understand that we are going to be a little bit behind y'all. So just understand that as you watch and understand, that we're a little bit behind. But the Raptors won the first anything to win in this particular series because they just got the tip. That ain't
so
gonna mean
I'm a
much.
little bit behind you. But and we're not going to be commentating the game. What we're doing, so this is our first time doing this, so there might be some rough edges. But essentially, it's a watch party where we kind of interpret the events of the game through
Right.
our varying and maybe sometimes same perspective. See how we observe the game and
Well,
enjoy it with you guys.
one thing is that there's only one way to interpret that pass that Kyle Lowry just threw straight to hell over
That
over Serge Ibaka's head. So there's only
I
one
tell
way
you
to.
what, there's something else to interpret with that. Is that was a very rushed, nervous pass.
Yes, it was. It
You
very
know,
much was. That's
and
that had that all over it.
yeah, he's got
That
to
had
get
that
his
all over.
nerves under control immediately.
And we already know that that's something that he struggles with his whole decompression thing. He struggles with that.
Yeah. And interesting because the Warriors, they get a running floater from Klay Thompson in the lane. Not one of the top 3 or 4
shot types for them, right?
Correct. So it's interesting. I think they got the foul on Klay. I'm sorry, on Steph. So that's 2 nervous rushed plays that come out in the beginning. And we talked about this a little bit last week, that the NBA Finals is a different beast.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know if this will go 7, but Game 7 in the NBA Finals it can't be compared to any other game. And you can see it right here. There's a lot of players who've been to the finals multiple times on these teams.
Yes.
And they're still coming out rushed.
A little weird, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only other Game 7 that is similar in sports, or is more in sports, is baseball, because baseball is the least amount about raw athleticism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, man, having the mindset and the poise to make the right pitches and to connect with a connect with a tough pitch with that kind of tightness is crazy, you know.
Speaking of which, so I'm starting to watch more baseball because of you. I'm going to baseball games. I'm watching baseball games, which means I get to experience the heartbreak of being a Mets fan again, which
Oh
is,
yeah,
it is what it is. You know what
it
it's
is
like.
what it is. It's tough.
Luckily, Danny Green coming out hot. So you. I also have the Yankees, so that it's not all heartbreak, but
How you got both of them too, though? Like, yeah, I mean,
they're
I
both
know
from
I'm
my
kind of
city.
like that. I'm
I
kind of
should be
like
able to
that too.
root for any
I kind of
team that
like that too.
represents my
I'm
city.
kind of like that too. I don't hate the White Sox. I don't. I'm
I
just a
never
Cubs
understood
fan.
that. The thing is, I could understand that if it was a situation where the teams had a bitter rivalry all the time.
Well,
You,
that is the case in Chicago.
it's not the case in New York.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I grew up in a very unique time when the Mets were good when I was younger, and when I was a little bit older, the Yankees were the Yankees again.
Right.
So I was just watching good baseball in New York. Sorry, we had two good teams when I grew up. I'm
Right.
not gonna arbitrarily hate one of them teams. That don't make no sense to
Right. Just because it'll make somebody else that is less balanced feel more comfortable.
me. So it's interesting because they got a Curry look from on the offensive rebound, kind of a lucky offensive rebound that's going to happen. But the first few attempts from the Warriors, they haven't really gotten good looks at the
Yeah,
basket.
I'm not liking, like, the only person to me that is moving and operating the like he's been here before right now is Steph. The only one that seems to be operating comfortably. You know, the way he's
Yeah, on the Warriors side, right?
yeah, on the Warriors
Yeah,
side, like the way he's moving off the ball, and this just looks like vintage Steph the way he plays.
yeah. But
But
everybody else seems a little jittery.
yeah,
So who do you have in this series?
I have Golden State. I don't, I'm not ashamed to say I would like to see Toronto win.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to Tim Hamer Jr. with the green as the Predator's blood. Brian Mazique's
yes,
catchphrase when he gets the
yes.
green release. You don't get to hear it too often, but it is an
Oh,
excellent.
oh, oh, and then here they go again. Here come the shots. Every time I look, oh, here come another one. Oh, he missed that. That was brown as the man. That was there it is. That one's green. Marc Gasol, as green as the Predator's blood.
So I'm gonna say this in the early going. I love the pass out to Gasol by Siakam, but if Steph Curry's gonna get away with guarding Pascal Siakam,
Yeah. That's you know what that's similar to me. And it's not quite as bad because we're not talking. I mean, Steph, this person's a much better defender to me than Steph is. But I remember when the Bulls were playing the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it was 2010 Eastern Conference Finals, and the Bulls allowed Miami to get away with putting Dwayne Wade on Luol Deng. And I felt that was the key to the series because LeBron would take Rose and literally put him in a negative situation because at that time we're talking about prime LeBron could guard 5 positions LeBron.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to be able to take advantage of that with Dang on Wade in the post, but it never happened. It never happened. So, and I thought that was a real big key to the series going the way it went.
Well, here's where I defer on that. Pascal Siakam is an athlete.
You breaking up a little
Solid
bit.
athlete. And am I breaking up? It looks like
you
you're
back
breaking
now.
up.
You back up now.
Am I back? Yeah, we had a hiccup. But yeah, Luol Deng was a solid athlete. He's 6'8", Dwayne Wade's 6'4", 6'5"-ish, right? Dwayne Wade's also super strong, wide of shoulder, and an excellent defender by any measure for his entire career. He's still a decent defender now, right?
Right.
Steph is an average defender, 6'3", and Pascal Siakam 6'9", 6'10", an excellent athlete, it's a bigger disparity.
Oh no, that's pretty much that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, yeah.
It's different, but it's a similar concept. In that was still something that should have been a mismatch.
See, I don't
That
know about that. I don't know if I stick Luol Deng in the post against Dwayne Wade all series, if that's an efficient
I
matchup.
I'm not saying it's barbecue chicken, but
Because it ain't.
it should be a favorable matchup for the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, we're talking about a guy with ridiculous arm length in Dang, who had a solid shooting touch as well, and he's got a 5-inch reach advantage. If you're in the NBA and you have those qualities going in your favor, and I understand how good of a player and good of a defender Dwayne Wade is, but if you got that in your favor, to me that should be a mismatch. You know,
if we were talking about more of a Rudy Gay, Tobias Harris type, who had a consistent offensive weapon, I would agree with you. But I always felt that Dang's best offensive weapon was the catch and shoot mid range shot, not
yeah.
anything out of the post. And
Well,
I don't care who guarding him.
mm-hmm.
I don't want Dang shooting 18, 20 shots out the post. Whereas with Pascal Siakam, if they guard him with Steph all the time, I want him shooting 25 shots in the post.
Yeah,
You
see,
know what I'm saying?
I don't
Like
see.
that's
I think that yeah. But see, it's like this. Dang was a better player in that range to me than Siakam is right now. But Dwayne Wade's a significantly better defender
right.
than Steph. So
And bigger.
yeah, bigger, but not so much bigger. Where it's, I mean, stronger, absolutely, I mean, miles ahead from a strength standpoint. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
So we got a question in the chat that we should address, if not address. It was about Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
sent me the trailer. I watched it. Are we gonna cover that today during the thing, or
I
are we
was
gonna do
thinking
that
about doing that
tomorrow?
in the. I meant to say this when we first jumped on. We're going to actually do a full show because obviously the normal way that we do traditionally do things is we do the show like this, and then we break it out into segments the following for the rest of the week. But obviously, if you're doing a watch party, that's not going to really happen. But what I was thinking about, what we were going to do, we talked about this before the show started, was that we would just do a full show tomorrow and then do that way. So I was thinking that the Call of Duty subject could be breached tomorrow. Breached. You see what I said? This is a military type term. Never mind. Forget it. It's okay. It's okay.
That's bars. That's bars. I got you.
It was. It was. I mean, it was. It was. You left me out there by myself for a long time.
I had it muted because I was listening to the game.
Oh, okay, because I felt bad for it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was good. That was good.
Okay, great. Thanks.
A
Thanks.
little wordplay. Well, you from Chicago? Y'all should have a little wordplay.
Well, we should. We should.
I want to hear you rap sometime.
Hey, man, whenever you're ready, I got it. I got it for you.
Oh, bad bars in the chat. They didn't like it. They didn't like the
Oh, they
Bruce
didn't like it?
wordplay.
Oh, I got good bars for you now.
It was M71408.
I got one for you. I drop it right now during commercial break.
1989 liked it.
He liked it. Good, good. I appreciate it. I appreciate him. I appreciate it.
So we'll be covering that on the full show tomorrow. But spoiler alert, I definitely am excited for the game, and
Yes,
I liked it.
Looks great. Looks great.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from what you can see,
To rewind it back to past Call of Duties, I have to say this probably won't be as much of a factor as time goes on. But man, do they make the most PC-ish console shooters ever?
Yeah. Yeah, this one is confirmed to have cross-platform play. So
I hope this cross-platform thing pans out. Okay, so let's talk about the game for a quick second. Toronto is getting excellent shots.
yeah,
and the Warriors are getting mediocre to poor shots.
Yeah. So but that makes me worry though that they're only up by 3 though.
Not necessarily, because the Warriors have been getting some good bounces on like offensive rebounds. They got the foul call with Steph.
Right, but that's my point, because if they're getting poor shots now, you may not be able to depend on them getting the quality of shots for the remainder of the game. And if you're not taking advantage of it, if you're not maximizing on that opportunity, then what happens when the run comes?
Well, I think the the Raptors are doing well with the opportunity. I think it's a combination of the fact that it's early, and something that I think will be alarming for the Warriors is the pace heavily favors the Raptors right now.
Yeah.
The pace is really low. And the thing about the slow pace is if this series has this pace and it's close towards the end of the game, towards the end of every game, I mean, I like Kawhi over the Warriors in that scenario. I think the Warriors, their advantage is the explosiveness of their offense, not
Yeah.
3 points to go, half court, end of
And
a game, road series.
one thing that I'm also noticing that is a good thing, that I wondered how it was going to look, but in Gasol, is his size on the inside is really so far a factor,
Yeah,
and offensively, the fact that he can also stretch the floor, it makes up for the fact that he's not that traditional, well, because he is more of a traditional big, and he's not that type of big that that generally needs to be involved in switching everything. He's causing enough havoc with his strengths, which is something that I've long heard Charles Barkley talk about. You don't beat the Warriors playing like the Warriors.
right.
You beat the Warriors doing what you do better.
It's interesting because with the way this lineup is defensively, I think against most other teams, the Warriors can make you pay for going quote unquote big.
Mm-hmm.
But because the other four players are so not just great, but also versatile defensively,
Yes.
they can play not to switch. And when they do switch, it's not a disadvantage.
Right.
Like head to head straight up, they're not really losing matchups defensively the
Mm-hmm.
way other teams are. Like
Yeah.
when Clay looks at CJ McCollum, like he don't even see CJ McCollum. He's
Yeah.
just thinking about what he's gonna do. Danny Green's a different story entirely. And if you say that, Steph gets a beautiful 3-pointer.
Man, Steph's energy right now
Great.
is great.
Yeah. And he's hitting tough shots in tough situations. The Raptors are actually playing him pretty solid, and he's doing Steph Curry things to him. So
Yes.
credit to him.
Yeah, but
I thought that was a flop
I
on
think
Green.
that this series is going to be much more competitive than a lot of people think. But I do like. I mean, I've heard some people saying 6 games, but I hear a lot of other people saying stuff like, "Oh, Warriors are going to kill them." I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. I'm not saying that Golden State's definitely. I mean, I picked Golden State to win, but no matter what happens, I don't think that this is going to be a series that turns out to be a wash in favor of Golden State.
Here's the thing. Similar to the Milwaukee Bucks series, what I said about the Bucks series is it depends on whether or not their role players make shots, because the Raptors are two different teams. When Danny Green and Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet, in particular, those three hit shots.
Right.
When those guys, because those three are all great defenders, especially Lowry and Green.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have defenders on the floor that are that good, that are hitting shots, it's a different dimension that the team forces you to guard.
Right.
So if those guys are hitting shots, the Raptors can win this series.
Yeah.
I'm not of the mind that they can't win this series. I still think Golden State is favored. I'm still picking Golden State. I do think it's preferable for Golden State to win the series in 6, because a game 7 on the road to a different country with the older legs of the Warriors. And when I say older, I don't just mean their birth certificate, but how many times they've been in the finals.
Exactly. Success fatigue.
Yes. It's a lot of that. So I think if this
that
goes
was
to 7
honestly,
games, that's a scary situation for them.
Honestly, that was the reason that I didn't pick the Warriors to win the championship this year. It wasn't about that they have the best team, because I think that we all know that if you look at their roster, they're still the best team, right? But I didn't pick them because I know how difficult it is for teams to stay up when they've won this often. And then, I knew things wouldn't go perfect because they just never do. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have people maybe fall out with one another. All different types of things start to happen that can affect chemistry. And I think that's what happened. But to their credit, they have responded so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like a lot of that regular season noise was mostly noise.
Hmm.
And it was a situation where once they got to the playoffs, they'd put their playoff hats on. I do think the boredom that those teams have, those
It's
super
mostly regular
successful
season
teams.
stuff. It's mostly regular.
Yeah, I know that's why I never wavered. I was just, this is I don't talk to me about the Warriors until we get to May.
Well, I picked this from the beginning of the season that they wouldn't win. It wasn't as I saw the problems happening. I
Mhm.
From the beginning of the season, I felt that they would fall short. You know,
But you're picking them now.
I'm picking them now because they have, to me, at this point, they have withstood most of the impediments that you would see them. And now we're talking about win
Yeah,
four more games.
that's super interesting. There's a question coming in from the chat but I want to address that. So Ali Hassan is asking, do we think DeMarcus Cousins coming back will have an impact for game one?
I don't think it'll have a significant impact. I mean, I could see him coming off the bench playing 10 minutes and knocking down a shot or two and giving his team an emotional lift. But from a schematic and overall, oh man, we got to change something that we were doing, because DeMarcus Cousins' impact, I don't anticipate that happening maybe until game two when he can play more significant minutes. But right now, I think it's more about seeing him on the floor, in which I don't want to underestimate that because I think that that's important because he's the new blood, right? He's the guy who's a significant talent who hasn't won yet. So I think that actually is a big deal, and we'll see how that impacts them. I thought that gave them a little bit more of a chance because it kind of goes against the success fatigue. It gives the other guys a reason to win, right? We already got 3 championships. We want to win for DeMarcus, kind of a thing. So,
See,
um,
I think they're locked in for this. I'm not worried about their energy or motivation at all. The thing
right,
that concerns me about DeMarcus is defensively, he hasn't played a lot of games with the Warriors this year.
right.
Period. It
Hmm.
took them a while to get him into rhythm, and that was with Kevin Durant on the court. He hasn't played with this rotation
Right.
like much yet at all, right? Where Kevin's down and it's him with the original Warriors
Hmm.
and obviously Looney. And right now, the look that they're giving you is when Looney sits down, they have the option to go super small. And
Yeah,
that's a great lineup for them. I don't know
it
if it's
is.
great against the Raptors
It might not be
because the
good against the
Raptors,
Raptors.
right, the
Yeah.
Raptors small is really good with Ibaka at the 5. That kind of matches up better with the Warriors than most teams in the league. But the issue with DeMarcus is he's not in shape. And so if it was prime DeMarcus Cousins coming in and, he's been with the team this entire time, how does he match up with the Raptors? I
Right.
would agree with you. But the fact that he has at maximum 7 games, at minimum 4 games, obviously, to adapt to this team, adapt to the matchup, adapt to being in shape, adapt to the rhythm, test his own body, and deal with his defensive struggles. I think it's possible that putting DeMarcus Cousins in could be a net negative for the Warriors. And the thing is, he doesn't have to be a negative all the time, but
Hmm.
in a series against a high level team that's scouting everything you're doing, he only has to have a couple of bad, you know, stints to lose you a game.
Well,
The margin
I
of error
don't,
is
I
really
don't think,
small.
I don't think that they will put him out there in a scenario where that's the case, unless he proves that he is in the type of shape and mentally, acclimated enough to actually play those kinds of minutes. I think he will get. I mean, every minute in the finals is important, so it's not like that. But I think there's spots that you can find for him. Ibaka looks like he has no business in the finals. But I think there's spots that you can find for him. But I think that I don't know that he'll be placed in a situation where that's the case. The other thing that I think about is that because there's 2 freaking days between every game, I think that helps him. because he gets a chance to use that time to try. I mean, there's nothing like being on the floor, but I think that he does get a little bit more time to try to get acclimated. And somebody, I mean, this is the finals, and if you really want him to be involved, you got to work with him even during on off days. But
I think
you
the
know,
best case scenario for him, I mean, not best case scenario, but most likely good scenario for him is for him to have a run our test situation where everybody else is tired
hmm
and he gets hot
yeah,
later in the series. But
yeah,
the question was about game one.
yeah,
I don't love him for game one. And I think what Steve Kerr said was honest and accurate.
hmm
That if this was the regular seasons, I'd throw him in because who cares? But we can't afford to have, him huffing and puffing out there on pick and rolls
yeah,
and allowing role players to get hot. Like that's a legit concern. Like
yeah,
Serge Ibaka is missing a bunch of open shots right now. You put Cousins out there and Serge gets a couple of dunks, you might reverse that.
yeah. And Van Vliet can't get one to drop either.
This is what I was talking about them making shots because Siakam, they're doubling down on Siakam and giving up wide open threes to decent percentage 3-point shooters, and they're just not making shots right now,
Right.
which we also saw out of Milwaukee. Which brings up another question, and I saw this question on one of the various networks. Do you think analytics goes out of the window in the playoffs?
Um, I don't
Because
think
we're
so.
seeing these Moneyball teams kind of get figured out, and we see a lot more retro basketball skills more valued.
Well, see here's the thing. I don't think analytics goes out the window, but I think it's the same as it is with any other situation in analytics. You can't put all of your eggs in that basket, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, because there's a certain part of the game that is psychological, and you have to compensate for that too. And analytics is not really going to tell you that, because a guy may prove to be efficient, two or less dribbles, and that's his thing, moving right, two or less dribbles. He shoots 67% on jump shots, and you surmise that with the current team you're putting together, you can put him in that situation 75% of the time, right? You might come up with that metric, but it doesn't account for the fact that in the postseason, is he going to make the shot that he should make? Or is this going to be a situation where he's going to perform lower than he normally would? So
Mm-hmm.
even though, yes, I see the analytics, and yes, I see that this says that this is his the best position to put him in, but does he operate optimally in the postseason? That's what you really need to find out.
Well, see, and that's an excellent way to state that. Does he, blank in the postseason?
Right.
Analytics is based off of all basketball, but
Mm-hmm.
postseason is very specific because it's just a
Yes.
couple of matchups.
Yes.
And so for that reason, I don't love. I do think it's 2 seasons. The
It is.
playoffs are
It
long.
absolutely is. It
Half the
absolutely
league
is.
gets in the playoffs, and I do think you almost have to have postseason analytics and regular season analytics
Well,
to
here's
to
the
gain the
other
most
thing.
benefit.
Here's the other thing that's really that's difficult to deal with, right? And it's very difficult to kind of uh, put together, right? That the analytics may be 100% on even in the postseason, but here's the thing: there may be a person or a matchup that traditionally, you even saw this in the analytics against a 6'7" physical athletic defender. This particular player performs at a lower clip than he does against a guy who's 6'6" with a different build, right? But you may say, okay, well, at his position, he doesn't see that matchup very often, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's cool. So this is why his numbers are this, and this is why his numbers are that. But here's the problem: in the postseason, he's got to beat that guy 4 times.
Right.
So now you're in this spot where my analytics were right overall, but it ain't helping us in this series. And if we don't win this series, we going home.
Right. And I think the other factor is most players and coaches are supposed to play harder and more attentively
Mm-hmm.
in the postseason. And I think there are players who are better at that particular skill
Mm-hmm.
than other players are. That's
Right.
a skill. Stepping your game up is a skill. There's no stat for it,
Right.
right? But who would we say? Playoff Rondo, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you go by Rondo's regular season analytics, you got a sad story coming for you in the playoffs if you think that's who you're going to get.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what Lillard and McCollum found out last year.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen players through history who are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Iguodala,
Yeah.
just doesn't care during the regular season. He's too old for this.
Yeah.
He's just coasting.
Yeah,
You
and he
know,
was a different dude in Philly though, because he was the guy, and he had to kind of carry some stuff.
right?
But yeah, he just a different guy. His mindset has changed,
Hmm.
you know, and he knows his definition of success is different now than it used to be. You
Yeah,
know, his definition of success now is playing defense, knocking down a couple open threes, being not horrible from the free throw line, which is a challenge for him, and
yeah.
and that's it, and moving the ball effectively and rotating on defense properly. That's his thing. When he was with the Sixers, he was handling the ball a lot. He was looked at as their primary scorer a couple years. He had to do a lot of everything, not asked to do all of those things anymore.
Yeah, I think the playoffs does demonstrate why certain aspects of analytics are overstated. Particularly when we start having like who's the best player here discussion, this person on that team and stuff like that. It
Mhm.
really does change in the playoffs when people are going to key in on you and you have to either adapt your game or take
Yeah,
that strong tool and shove it down their throats, basically.
yeah, because that's the thing about like I love stats. I love them. I love like when I find like a new statistical resource. You should see me. I'm like, oh my god! I got Junior the same way. He comes in. He's like, oh my god, Dad, you can look up what a dude shoots when he's being defended within 2 feet. I'm like, yeah, this is dope, like and we love it. But I understand that there are points in the game where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. And I also understand that, like, with a guy, especially like a guy like Kobe, right? I'm quite sure if you got Kobe's analytics for some of them would be negative. You know what I mean? Some of them would be pretty negative, but there are times for him when it didn't matter that he, he still was going to take the shot, and he would maybe make it more than others, but still, like, technically from an analytics standpoint, it's a bad shot, but he's going to take it anyway. You know,
Well, and going to that, right? So we could both sit here and say it's a bad shot and agree on that. But we can also agree that in the playoffs, you know, once a team is keyed in on you, there's
there
going to
he
be
is.
stretches where you only get bad shots.
Yeah, and you got to be able to knock him down. Here's
Right.
DeMarcus.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see how this turns out.
Man, I am so good. I'm so happy to see him on the floor, though, man. I am, and I've never been I became more of a DeMarcus Cousins fan this like last year, like late last year, but like right before the injury, I became more of a fan of his then. And I got an underdog thing, A lot of times I don't even like people that much until things go like they get down, right? And
Hmm.
so now that I'm seeing how much he's had to overcome and the fact that he hasn't quit, that he's still out here, still out here ball. Like, look at this play, the play that he gets hurt on. Like, you know, this, I don't care what you think about him and what your, whatever it is about him, this dude is a baller. Like, you may not like everything about his personality, but the dude is a baller, and I got respect for ballers.
I'm completely neutral on DeMarcus Cousins. Like I don't know if I've ever been more neutral on a basketball player in my life. Like
Hmm.
all of the on court stuff, I never got too up in arms about it in terms of like the antics and the
Right.
immaturity and stuff like that. Off the court, he hasn't, to my knowledge, done a whole lot of stuff that was super negative. Like you said, he's super
No.
skilled. He clearly loves to play.
Hmm.
He does come like it's weird for me when a guy is supposed to love the game, but then he's out of shape. I
Yeah.
don't understand how those two things coexist
I,
because
I do. I
how?
do because it's like this, right? You you may love something, right? But do you it's like this. If somebody told you like the reason why is because he know, and this is actually the problem. And I'm not saying that this is don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I am not defending that approach, but I understand how it can happen because in his mind, in the back of his mind, not I don't think this is necessarily a conscious decision. It's the same thing with Shaq, right? I know that based off of what I just bring to the table anyway, I'm good enough, I'm great enough, I'm talented enough just physically, eating whatever I want to eat to be one of the best players in the NBA. I know that. I am. It's clear. And I don't like I said, I don't think this is a conscious decision. So I love the game and you can't take it away from me because I'm not in the best shape because in the shape that I'm in, I'm still one of the best players in the league. And so we may look at him and go, man, yeah, you're one of the best players in the league. But if you were 15, 20 pounds lighter, you'd be even greater than that. You know, he still loves basketball and he doesn't look at being out of shape as if he is giving it up. If there was a situation where it was like, DeMarcus, you got to lose 15 pounds or you can't play in the NBA anymore, then I think you'd see him lose 15 pounds. But he knows that's not the case. He knows that's not the case. So his love isn't actually being challenged.
So I understand where you're coming from, and here's why I'm probably totally neutral on DeMarcus Cousins. I do lean towards players that take more pride in the defensive end.
Yeah.
I think it's a competitive thing to say, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to let you score on me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm going to make the game harder for you.
Mm-hmm.
And DeMarcus Cousins has been a negative on defense for a while, and part of the reason is because he doesn't have great mobility, and he would clearly have better mobility if he was in better shape. Now, it's one thing to get into a situation where it doesn't hurt you, but to be on losing teams constantly and not
Well,
adapt after all this time, it's hard for me to look at him like a gamer the way I see other people like a Julius Randle or a Kobe Bryant or a Victor Oladipo, Draymond Green this year decide it's game time. I need to do everything I can to maximize and be the best of myself.
well, see, yeah, that's just kind of to me it's just a different level of an of a competitor. Like I don't say that it's that he doesn't love the game. I think that it's just a different thing. It's just a
Yeah.
different
Well, I mean,
approach.
does he stand out as a guy who loves it? When I see you as a standout,
Mhm.
I put you in the category of those people. And it's not about how good you are, because talent is one thing. Your genetic gifts are another thing. But it's just really what were you given and what did you earn? And with DeMarcus Cousins, he seems to like Harden historically care this level on the offensive end, and then on the defensive end, as Czar once said, you can't get mad at me for my guy getting 20. I got 35.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why we
Yeah.
didn't win? And
Yeah.
I don't view that as a positive attitude.
Well, and
And the thing is, from a guy who's going to get a lot of texts and stuff like that, I'm more forgiving of guys who get texts and are super emotional when they're emotional on both sides of the ball.
yeah. Now, the funny thing is that, and this is analytically speaking, DeMarcus hasn't been a minus on defense like the past 3 seasons. The past 3 seasons that he's played, he hasn't been. He grades out as a middle of the road defensive big man
But what do you
because
see on the floor?
what I see on the floor, the only time he looks like a minus is in screen and roll situations. That's the
Screen
only
and roll
time.
is the number one offensive play in the
But
NBA.
I don't know that any player with his level of athleticism would be any better because he's not a fantastic athlete. And could he have a little more spring if he lost 15 pounds? Yes. But he would never be
Well, I
a
mean,
good screen and roll defender.
Marc Gasol is a great example. Marc Gasol doesn't have fast feet. He just has a high defensive IQ, a
He has a high
desire to be
defensive
good on
IQ.
defense, and he got himself into much, much better shape. He used to be a
Yeah,
fat guy.
he was a chunky guy. He was a chunky
Can
kid.
DeMarcus Cousins be a lot closer to Marc Gasol? Yeah,
Absolutely, he could.
yeah,
He
that's what I'm
could.
saying. So,
He could. But I don't. I don't know. I think it is definitely a different mental makeup for sure.
yeah.
Gasol is, and then I mean, Gasol got brought up in the game by a professional. You know what I mean? He grew up in Memphis, while his big brother played for the Memphis Grizzlies. Went to high school there, got taught the game in that way, taught the game in the right way, essentially, and grew up under the game. And I clearly that's not DeMarcus. DeMarcus is the kind of dude, I used to say this all the time. DeMarcus is one of those guys who has been the best player everywhere he's ever been for the majority of his life, even with his bad habits, even with his sometimes negative mental approach. And when that's the case, it's very difficult to get somebody to change anything about the way they do things, because they
Mhm.
can always say, well, we didn't lose because of me, because you're the best player. And so I think that that's kind of what. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he didn't pass, did he?
I
Did
don't know what you talk
John
about.
Saunders passed away?
Oh,
D. Johnson says he needs to lose 25 pounds. I don't know. I think 25 might be a little bit much.
oh no, he could lose 25. Take it from somebody who thought they only needed to lose 25 and lost 70. He could lose 25 easy.
Because I'm looking at DeMarcus has to be. He's got to be 6'10", 6'11", 285. Yeah. So yeah, I would say so. I would say he probably could lose.
25 easy. He
Yeah,
could
he
come
could lose
down to
25.
250. He could get so much leaner, like
Yeah.
so much leaner.
Yeah. He does a lot. A lot of what he does, though, he does with power. So he needs
Oh,
some of
he
the
wouldn't
bulk.
lose. Nah, he don't need the bulk. He just need the. I mean, he's so soft right now. Like he just need the more lean muscle, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think 15 would still be good. I'd have to see what he looks like 25 down though. Because DeMarcus is one of those guys. He's supposed to be a little bit thicker. He's supposed to be a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So here's an interesting stretch with Kawhi and Ibaka on the floor.
Yeah.
Let's see how Boogie plays, because they basically
Well,
were neutral.
this play right here that just happened, he got beat off the screen and roll, and he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
slide quick enough.
I mean, and they passed up a
You see,
wide
they
open
have
jumper
to
too.
get him. That's what I was about to say. They have to get him the ball on the block. You gotta let him get some of this back.
And see, this is the problem
Getting
though,
triple. Nice
because
pass out of it.
so
Oh, there. He just made that play though.
he's
He
been making
drew.
great passes since he came in.
Yeah, he drew the triple team, which I'm not sure why that help came all the way from the corner.
I
That
don't
was
know
that
either.
was pointless help. But and that's what opened up Jarebko. Oh, look at this fool here. That boy there got. I mean, his game, Kawhi Leonard's game is like this dude. Like that spin move. Nah, you got Boogie out here up top. You got to shoot that Boogie. Oh yes, his shot is off. Like
So this is what
every
I was
shot
saying
he's
though.
taking.
So what I was gonna say was, when you get beat in the pick and roll, you don't just give up the roll, you give up threes when people help the roll.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's the same thing we talked about with Kevin. If he's gonna be in the post getting 2-pointers, but he's giving up 3-pointers,
Yeah,
that's how you wind up with 25 points and losing the game
yeah,
and being like, well, I played well.
yeah.
And his man didn't score. And maybe the analytics don't show this, that, or the other.
No, they definitely do. They definitely do. But that didn't happen a lot to him in
Well, I
his
know
last.
losing happened a lot to him.
Yeah, losing happened a lot in Sacramento. But I mean, it's not as if he was on a super talented team in Sacramento. So that's one thing. And it's also not as if he had a bunch of
Well,
great coaching either.
here's the thing though. Sacramento looks much better now without Boogie Cousins. And I know it's not the same teams, but most people would agree that there's nobody on Sacramento right now who's viewed as being as talented as Boogie Cousins.
I don't know. De'Aaron might be.
No, but I mean, right now,
it's pure as far as pure talent. De'Aaron might be viewed as he might even have a higher ceiling.
I would take De'Aaron Fox over DeMarcus Cousins every single day of the week, but
Yeah,
he's not
I
viewed
would too.
as the same level of talent. I mean, De'Aaron Fox isn't even a top 5 point guard for
No,
most
but
people.
we're talking
And
about
DeMarcus Cousins
talent,
was
not what
considered the
they've
number
become.
one most talented big man for most of his time in the league.
Well, we're talking about talent, not what they've become. It's just on a pure talent. De'Aaron Fox has the ability, the talent to be the best point guard in the league, just on pure talent. Just on pure talent. I think that he has the ability to become the best coach the best player in the league. I mean, best point guard in the league. So that's why I said
I
I don't
agree
know.
that he has that potential, but
Right.
DeMarcus
But we're
Cousins,
just talking about talent.
but
That's
DeMarcus Cousins day one has been that. Day one.
But DeMarcus Cousins always had a limitation because he's not a great athlete.
Oh, but he's a big. He don't need to be. He don't need to be.
But he's not even a good athlete for a big.
1989 says the best player he ever played with was probably Tyreke Evans. No, he played with obviously Anthony Davis in New Orleans.
Yeah, but he only played with Anthony Davis for half a season.
Yeah, but they look better without him. I mean, they did, didn't they? They look much better without him.
I mean, I
they look
think
better with Mirotic.
I think that a lot. I also don't think that he's ever played for a good coach. See, that's the other thing. The coach.
But same thing though. Like we looking at all other sources. New Orleans looked better with the same coach and the rest of the same team when Boogie was hurt.
Yeah,
everything was different except Boogie was sitting down.
You talking about where in New Orleans?
New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but see, to me, I feel like that's a part of the fact. Like when you have two superstars, especially two pivot superstars, it takes a while to get them on the same page. It takes a minute, right? And they have to get a chemistry. And I don't think they ever got to that point because he got hurt before they could get to that point. Yeah, this series is going to be very competitive, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, this series is going to be.
The interesting thing, yeah, Mike Malone was a good coach. I agree with that. Mike Malone was an excellent coach. If Sacramento was a better organization, he'd probably still be there.
Maybe that's what I should say. Maybe that's what I should say because the Sacramento Kings organization is terrible.
Oh, bad turn.
What a block by Sean Livingston.
Yeah, you're right. This series looks like it's going to be super close, man. Because I just don't see much changing from what we're seeing right
here. He just traveled and they didn't call it.
Like a few shots can go in more.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's the flow. It's the flow of the game, and it's the matchups across the board. You can tell this is a competitive series. Mm-hmm. Man, Kyle Lowry is the most out of control, above average point guard I've ever seen. Maybe Derek is up there too, but. I mean, I'm telling
you. Younger Westbrook was wild.
Yeah, he was super wild too, yes. But, I mean, Kyle Lowry, sometimes he just literally puts his head down and just says, I don't know where I'm going to end up, but hopefully it's close to the basket. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, people don't realize, man, Kyle Lowry's 34?
You know what's funny? I was just looking at past drafts because I was thinking, I'll pitch this to you while our audience is watching. I was thinking we should do a segment on past drafts as
I think that would be awesome. Draft. I think that would be
so
awesome.
I got a segment idea. If you don't mind me pitching in front of the people.
Oh, go ahead, pitch on.
I would love to go through the drafts and say who won this draft.
Yes,
you are disqualified if you had the number 1 pick and you chose the best player. That don't count.
No,
because
yeah.
No, because you won the lottery. You had a no-brainer choice to make, right?
Yeah,
but.
Yeah.
But
okay, what about this though? What if you had the number 1 pick, right? But you also had another pick in the first round or in the second round where you got a killer too.
Correct. I agree. You can have one. So you can have won the draft if you did that. And the other one I want to say is who effed up.
Right.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think my Bulls might be on a couple of those. The year we traded LaMarcus Aldridge for Tyrese Thomas.
Oh yeah, that's rough. That's a bad one. That's a bad one.
That's tough.
We got a few of those, man.
The year we passed on. No, I think this was the same. It might have been the same year. The year we passed on Brandon Roy and took Thabo Sefalasha. And John Paxson got up in front of everybody and said that he guaranteed in 3 years that Thabo would be better than Brandon Roy.
But didn't Randy Foye also get traded for Brandon Roy? Was that early or was that later? Was
I
that
don't know.
draft night?
No, we didn't draft Brandon Roy. We
No, but I'm
passed him.
saying in that same draft, wasn't Brandon Roy traded for Randy Foye?
Uh, I don't know. I have to look that up. I'd have to look
Yeah,
that
because if that was, they effed up.
up. Right,
Like,
right,
they effed up worse than y'all
right,
did.
right. And I mean, Golden State probably. I don't remember off the top of my head which draft it is, but Golden State won the draft the year they got Draymond Green in the second round. And here's another Bulls side note. There were steps that led to Tom Thibodeau and the Bulls parting ways. One of the first steps was that Tom Thibodeau told the Bulls, "You got to draft Draymond Green. You've got to get me Draymond Green." And the Bulls didn't like him and didn't draft him.
Wow.
And they didn't draft him. He was
See
there.
that?
He was there
That's what we talk
twice.
about with organizational stuff, because
Yes,
we hear that about the Lakers with Lonzo Ball. That a
yes,
bunch of people didn't want Lonzo,
yes,
and there's a couple of no-brainers in that draft.
yes.
No-brainers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that shot was
that
definitely
was
cash money.
terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a couple of no-brainers. And they went with Ball anyway, and Magic is still convinced with Lonzo.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not on the train of saying that Lonzo is trash necessarily.
No. I've actually gotten to the point where I really want him as a Bull now.
I've heard Bulls fans say that. I think he makes sense for you guys' team.
I
He
think he
makes
makes a lot
sense for
of
you
sense
guys'
because he got enough
identity.
scores.
I think the best thing for Lonzo is another year in LA with Jason Kidd and LeBron James in his ear. And if he doesn't flourish under that, then he was never going to be a good player.
I think he's had enough of LeBron in his ear, and I love LeBron, but I think he's ready for a different look overall, just a different than SoCal.
Well, he gonna get. I don't know about that.
I think he's ready for that, man. I mean, I think he's also ready to get kind of. Oh my God, Pascal, you're gonna shoot that flat and not even follow your shot, not even attempt to beat the man that's boxing you out. Just you're gonna shoot that flat footed like it was a green release. Well, Kawhi just got his hair braided, so you would think that made something, because this is a. I always can tell when somebody, my wife braids, so I can tell when somebody just got it.
Oh, game 1 of the finals.
Oh yeah, game 1 of the finals, you got to be crispy.
Kawhi actually takes pride in his cornrows. Not that they always ready. But
no, they ain't always ready.
He that's his his
SoCal. Is he the last player left in the NBA that still wears them?
No, I just saw somebody. I think Russell might have cornrows right now.
Russell
or braids
Westbrook?
of some kind. Yeah, I think so. In that barbecue, somebody at the picture on the Memorial Day thing with LeBron and the IG, somebody had their hair braided. If he does, they real short and tight though.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. So it was somebody at that table. I'm not sure if that shot was of Russell because it was from the side. And the low quality of the camera, I couldn't see the hair clearly, but somebody had.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture now. It looks like I don't know how old this is. Man, them braids are tighter than
tight.
Best
you see what I'm
friend.
saying, right?
No,
like,
I don't mean tight like good. They are neat, but they look like they are pulling his brain out.
No, it was really short. So, but you asked the question. That's who.
Yeah, no, I see it. I don't know how old. No, this is this is April 25th.
Yeah, Memorial Day. Like I said in the Memorial Day video that they posted up, it looked like.
Yeah, he must have them because that was April 25th. We'll see if he has them when the season starts back.
1989 said, "I don't want to hear no draft complaints unless your team took Michael Olowokandi first over Vince Carter."
Yeah.
Now, that was a bad one, but I do think Greg Oden over Kevin Durant was worse.
Yeah, because it was understandable. But
I didn't think it was understandable, and I have the evidence to prove it because like I said, I wrote a mini article on Operation Sports about that. But the thing about it is they knew that his legs were 2 different sizes.
Yeah, I remember.
And they also knew that Kevin Durant was 25, 12, and 4 or 5 or whatever he was. I thought Kevin Durant was as sure of a shot as you could possibly get, and that was an obvious mistake. But fair enough. That Michael Olowokandi over Vince Carter was a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that Olowokandi had more of a career than Greg Oden, and the fact that Durant's a better player than Carter gives the Oden over Carter over Durant thing makes it worse. But I understand the thought process of taking Oden. But here's the thing: the Portland Trailblazers got bit by that same concept of you always take the basketball concept has always been you always take the best big. And even though Durant was 6'9", 6'10" at the time, he wasn't considered a big. He was considered a small forward. And the old adage in basketball has always been, if you have a situation where you're looking at a top big and a top perimeter guy, you always take the best big. Unfortunately, two different times this has happened to the Portland Trailblazers, and they have gotten it way wrong. They took Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that was way wrong.
And it was the same
And in both
situation.
situations, if you look at the history, people knew that was a bad decision. That didn't come out of nowhere.
Sam Bowie was but he had leg problems already. He already had leg problems, but he was a beast at Kentucky. I'm talking about a beast. But and nobody knew Michael Jordan was going to be the greatest player that ever lived. Like, nobody knew that. I mean, the Rockets get a pass because Hakeem Olajuwon was one of the greatest centers that ever lived.
So here's my thing with Vince, right? Vince averaged 15.6 points in his last year at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant averaged 25, 12, and something. I mean, he was six at the time, 6'9", 6'10", shot the lights out, had a turnaround game. Like, he was such a no-brainer monster.
Yes. But
I thought Portland had lost their minds drafting Greg Oden.
But Vince played on a really, really good Carolina team. And so if he had played at Texas, then Vince's college numbers probably would have been better too.
And at the time Vince was drafted, we were in the era of looking for the next Michael Jordan, and other teams had already been finding, obviously, the Lakers success in that realm a little bit of,
because I'm gonna be honest with you, I never thought Vince Carter would be as good as he turned out to be. Like, I never thought I thought he would be a good player for sure, but like one of the top 5 to 6 shooting guards of his era, nah, I didn't think that.
No, and the thing about Vince is Vince was so insane at his peak. If he was like a championship mentality guy, he was just a monster.
Yeah.
Now, and I don't think he would have ever been better than like Kobe or T-Mac, who I just think have a better set of skills than Vince. Vince is great slasher, great shooter, decent handle, but he didn't have the post-up game. He's not as tall as either of those guys.
Now, some people might make the argument that he's better than T-Mac. You can make depends on how you judge it.
I mean, T-Mac led the league in scoring and was just a complete and total nightmare.
Vince was close though. He was close.
Yeah, but we talking about better.
Yeah, I mean, but we also look at how far did you take a team in the postseason? Vince Carter made it, I think, to the Eastern Conference Finals, or was it Eastern Conference semis?
I don't know, but one T-Mac on that team.
You might have been young T-Mac. But he definitely wasn't. He definitely wasn't T-Mac.
Well, I'm saying
Vince was the best player.
If when I was younger, I helped you get a team to the conference semis, and I don't want you taking credit for being better than me. You know what I'm saying? I helped you get that.
I don't know. I think Vince Carter's postseason success is much better than T-Mac's. Much better.
I think that's kind of a wash.
I don't know. And then I mean, it's not like the scoring numbers were vastly different. I mean, Vince Carter was his 4, 5, 6, uh, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 years in a row, averaging 20 or more points a game.
Yeah, but T-Mac, peak T-Mac
Pete T Mac
was
was a freak offensively.
that's what I'm
Just a
saying. Like
freak.
peak T-Mac, I mean, honestly, he was a 6'8" Kobe Bryant in a lot of ways. It's just he wasn't as good defensively, and he
And he
got the
should have, and he
injuries.
should have been better defensively. He should have
He
been
absolutely
better
should
than
have been better
Kobe. He should have
defensively.
been better than Kobe as a defender because he had all the tools to be better.
Well, I don't know, because T-Mac had a bad back, and he had a bad back from when he was younger.
But he didn't have a
So,
bad back when he was scoring 32 and 28.
well, when you get into that defensive crouch, discomfort is different than injury. And I think when you have discomfort, you might be more inclined to avoid doing certain things that it's not an injury, but it's not comfortable for you. Whereas Kobe athletically was just very sturdy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Kobe definitely had it seemed like, definitely played through injuries more often than T Mac, because just look at the amount of games played. Some 1989 says that Yao Ming shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I totally disagree, because you have to remember the Hall of Fame is not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. And if you take into consideration everything that Yao Ming accomplished internationally, what he means to Chinese basketball, you can't. It's no way in the world you can
Yeah.
say that he's not a Hall of Famer. And T Mac, somebody saying that T Mac shouldn't be in a Hall. M71408 is saying T Mac shouldn't be in. I kind of get what you're saying, but I'll put it to you like this. I believe T Mac's a 7-time All-Star, right? There is only one player in NBA history who has ever been to 7 or more All-Star games who is not an NBA Hall of Famer.
Well, maybe there should be two.
I'm just saying.
Here's my thing with T Mac. I do think that across the board, the NBA should reward postseason success more.
Mm-hmm.
I think the postseason is too long and contains too many teams to reward people who've only had regular season success.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Hall of Fame should be one of the places that you draw the line. So, despite how much of a monster T Mac was,
Yeah.
and we're talking about how much of a monster he was. I do think that if you've never contributed to a deep playoff run, you should not be in the Hall of Fame, no matter what else you did. I think there should be all kinds of anomalies. This guy averaged 40 points a game, and if he never got out the first round, then that's too bad, so sad. He had his opportunities.
Hey, M7148, don't do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. That's not
Oh,
don't you do that.
for the
Don't you do
people
that.
who aren't watching this live, he
Don't you do
said,
that.
"Might as well put D Rose in the Hall of Fame." Then,
Don't you do that.
I don't know why you saying don't do that.
Because
Because
he's trying to hurt me. That's why. Because he's trying to hurt me. He wants to hurt me. Here, see, he just laughed because he knows he wants to hurt me. That's why he did that.
but it was you who
Everybody
said
knows.
at the
Everybody
beginning
knows.
of the season.
Everybody knows that Derrick Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame as of right now. That should not happen. The only way Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame is if he, to me, plays a decent role on a championship team, and or I wouldn't even say and or. To me, I think his case is open and shut. If he plays, like if he's a 6-man on a championship team and wins 6-man of the year, I think at that point it's an open and shut case. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame because he will have a list of accomplishments that like nobody else in NBA history can claim. Nobody else in NBA history has been a rookie of the year, league
Are we doing
MVP.
this again?
I'm
We
just
doing this
saying,
again?
nobody else has been that. Nobody else is league MVP, rookie of the year, 6-man, and a championship ring. Nobody else has that on their resume. Nobody. So if he does that, which is a huge if, I mean, that is a heck of a if. Think about that if. That's a heck of a if. But if he does that, I think he's a open and shut case.
I totally agree. That is a heck of a if.
Yeah, that's a that's a heck of a if. But I mean, man, and then on top of that, just the resurgence and all that, and you don't want to put too many. Look at him, out of control. Look at him. Just look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Now he pulls it back out. Come on, dude, relax. Where were you going anyway? Oh yeah. See, oh, he put that in. That's a big shot. That's a big shot. That puts you up 10 at the half, unless Steph does something Stephish. And they force. Oh, wait, that was an intelligent trap at the end of a quarter when you know Steph wants that last shot to try to get that momentum back. You trapped him to take the ball out of his hands. Now I'm about to say this is ridiculous. If you have Steph inbound this ball. Oh,
So
that's a foul.
you said
That's a foul.
intelligent
That's
trap.
a foul. That's a
You said
foul.
intelligent trap. This is what I'm saying about Toronto. They're so intelligent. I've
Yeah.
been saying this for a couple of years now. Like they make and Dwayne Casey definitely deserves credit for this because
Yes.
they played like this under him as well. They will find the great shot and make the extra rotation.
Yeah.
That's why I say for them it just comes down to can they make shots, you know?
Yeah. See, I honestly, man, I feel like as a team right now, it looks like they want it more. As a team.
I wouldn't say that.
As a team, man to man. Like if you look like Steph's balling. Steph's doing his thing. Steph's doing his thing. And I think Clay's doing his thing. But some of the other players for Golden State don't seem as plugged in.
I think it's just a matter of you flew across country. You're adding a new player into the lineup in DeMarcus Cousins, which changes your routines from what it's been. You've been sitting down for a long time, and you're playing the best team you've played so far. Toronto Raptors have the best player, and they are the best defensive team and the best overall team that the Warriors have faced in the postseason. And they're doing it without Kevin Durant. I think it's just going to take, I think that just throws your flow. All of those things throw your flow off. I'm not seeing, like, I've seen they got a bunch of loose balls and, bunch of extra effort shot blocks, and they're making a bunch of rotations. But Toronto's so smart, they force you to keep rotating.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 rotations aren't good enough. They will pass, pump fake, pass until they get a good shot or a great shot. They've passed up a bunch of good shots for better shots.
Hey,
So
Jackson
I
Ellis.
think, isn't that wild seeing Jackson Ellis in the commercial?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That always break the fourth wall for me.
Right.
I feel like he's just there for me.
Yeah.
He will always be Jackson Ellis.
Yeah, he's gonna be Jackson Ellis forever. He's gonna be 72 years old. He's gonna be Jackson Ellis.
And I didn't even play that 2K.
Yo, I played that.
I played the Xbox. I was still on the 360 at that time.
This commercial is dope, dude. The art is just fire. I like it. I love this. I love that style art. I don't know what that is called. What is that called?
I'm a little behind you, so I probably have to see it.
Okay. It's the HyperX commercial, the headset commercial. When I don't know, maybe you didn't. It should be on. Maybe they're showing something different in New York.
Yeah, I might be on a different.
Yeah,
might have a different thing.
Yeah, because that was that they were doing like some sort of It was like, I don't know what you want to call it. You ever seen this? I'm sure you probably have. It's an anime, an old like legendary like super I don't know, cult classic type of an anime called American Pop.
American Pop? Let me see. I'll look that up.
Yeah, it's the look of that commercial kind of reminded me of American Pop.
I see American Pop.
Yeah, kind of reminded. It didn't get. I thought it actually was a little bit more highly regarded than it was, but maybe it was just a hype before it released. Because I remember I worked at I want to say, yeah, I think I was working at Blockbuster Video when this came out. So the hype was real for this film. And like it has the music of Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Leonard Skinner, and a whole bunch of others, like all in. Then like Leonard Skinner is in their animated. I think their animated versions of them are actually in it. It was actually pretty interesting. I love the art style. But that commercial kind of reminded me of that. Ralph Bakshi directed it.
And a quick shout out to everybody watching this with us. We got pretty much everybody in here watching it with us, so thanks for that. Thanks for rolling with us, watching the game, hanging out.
1989 said I probably
Brian,
just confused
oh,
everybody when I said Blockbuster Video.
oh yeah. Blockbuster was that store in the beginning of the second to last Marvel movie you saw.
Right.
They used to sell ancient devices called videotapes where we used to
Yeah,
put movies on them.
videotapes.
You could only
Yeah.
hold one movie at a time. It was
Only
hard.
hold one movie at a time. And man, I'm telling you, y'all don't know. I used to like, cause I was a humongous movie fanatic. Just oh my god, ridiculous, right? Like I would watch probably four to five movies a week. 4 to 5 at one point in my life. I would watch like 4 or 5, and I would get on all my family's nerves because I would like pay attention to crazy stuff like cinematography, and I would do all this reading and to figure out all these different techniques and but I didn't actually want to make films. I just wanted to be able. I actually think I wanted to be a critic, a movie critic, but I didn't realize that's what I wanted to be, and
Oh,
because I didn't even know that that's what it was that I was doing. I didn't realize that that was what I was studying, just without understanding that that's what I was studying. Because movie critics get on their friends' nerves because most people don't watch films like that. They just watch them, but like I would break down everything and I had seen so much and Blockbuster Video was like one of the greatest places ever to go for me because I'm like, it's just movies everywhere. They're all on the walls.
yeah. We used to hang out at Blockbuster, man. That was the move back in the
Yeah,
day.
man. I remember I worked at one on the Gold Coast in Chicago downtown on the Magnificent Mile, like right diagonally across the street from the water tower. And it's gone now and actually closed down like right when I was leaving. And there was a rat problem there that you
Ooh.
would not believe. I am trying to tell you, I've never been in any place with rats this bold. I'm trying to tell you. I mean, these rats, they was like Crips and Bloods, man. It wasn't no joke. They had rank. Like, so we would come into the store in the morning and open the store, and we'd see like like their level of sophistication is really amazing, right? But you
Mhm.
would see they would go to the candy thing to the candy rack that's right in front of the register,
Uh-huh.
and they would literally pull down all of this candy and they would carry it on a trail back to wherever they were saying,
Oh, I don't
you
like
know,
that.
it was crazy, Joe.
That's horrible.
One of the worst moments ever was they used to have this thing called physicaling the videotapes. So you had to take them all and you like people would return the video, you had to open it up, make sure that the right video tape was in there, close it up and put it on the rack. So you had to put it because
Yo, Tim
somebody
Hamer said you said the rats pushed weight.
yeah, they was pushing weight. It was a trap house, a rap trap house. So it was crazy. You had to like check to make sure the tape was in there, and you put them in a stack, and you take them and you put them back up on the wall because people would go to the movie they wanted. They take the movie from behind the box and they bring it up to the counter. Well, one day I'm got the stack of videos and I'm putting them all up on the wall, and I go to grab. I never forget it. Annie Hall, what Woody Allen, Annie Hall, because for
Yeah,
whatever reason in that neighborhood, people rented Annie Hall like all the time. Like the movie was like 30 years old then, right?
yeah.
So I'm about to put Annie Hall up, and all of a sudden, Annie Hall, the box of Annie Hall starts moving down the shelf.
Oh no,
I said, "Wow!" And I'm like, literally, I had my hand like I'm about
that
to
is.
grab the
Oh,
box.
I would have walked away from that job and
And
never
Annie
turned
Hall
back.
was like, doom, 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 doom. Man, 20-second timeout. This ain't gonna work out.
Yo,
No.
I would have literally took my shirt off, folded it, put it on the counter, and walked home.
It was crazy, Joe. It was
I'm
crazy.
sorry, I can't give y'all this 2 weeks notice, but this
It,
ain't happening no
this ain't
more.
gonna happen, man.
We done with this.
I was so scared to put movies back up after that. Like They used to be like,
I'm not even kidding. I would not have returned to work on the shelf.
man, on the
Nah.
shelf. And then we had this one customer. He was a guy. He was in a wheelchair, and he was one of the most consistent customers. I mean, he literally like because movies came out every Tuesday, and so he would be there
Ali
every
said Brian been using Netflix ever since.
right. Exactly. he, he would come every Tuesday to rent whatever was new. I don't care what genre, whatever was new, he'd rent it, right? And so he would come up, he'd wheel up in his wheelchair, and he literally have in his lap 6 to 7 movies. So he wheels up to the register real fast this one day. It's like 2 days after the Annie Hall incident. He comes up to the register and he pulls up and his face is bloodshot red. He's like, "You guys have huge effing rats in here."
Oh my goodness.
Because he said, man, what I ran across the shelf and like knocked all of the movies down. I'm like, see, no. I'm like, dog, we got to do something, bro. I tell the manager's name was Dan. I'm like, Dan, Dan, come on,
So
Dan.
it's interesting because I just retweeted an article not too long ago that basically said, we've reached a record in rats in several places in America, and they specifically mentioned New York, I think Philly, L.A., and one other place. But they said
Chicago.
no, they didn't mention Chicago. You know why?
Why?
Because y'all already the rat capital of America.
You know what? I don't understand I don't understand why rats haven't taken over the entire state of New York. Especially for any of y'all who have never been to New York, it is unlike any other place I've ever been because it is sophistication and the top level of fine arts in the middle of the trash. Like there's literally garbage freaking everywhere.
It depends on where you go and when you go.
Like, okay, in Manhattan, I was in one part of Manhattan. I can't remember which part I was at. Oh my God, I almost had it. Because if I told you where I went, no, that wasn't it. Oh my God. If I told you where I went, I know you know exactly where I was at. But the streets were clean like Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, whoa, what's up with this? But then you go to like Soho and you go to
Yeah.
other. Oh my God, bro! I'm trying to
Downtown,
tell
the
you,
rats are real bad,
they
and
are.
they've always been bad.
I'm talking about. I'm trying to tell you. I had a rat ask me if I needed to park my car. If he needed to park my rental car. He said I'm
Like
the valet. He said I'm
they've
the valet. They done
recently,
started employing the rats in New York.
yeah, it recently has gotten really bad here. Particularly in my neighborhood, it's gotten worse, and it was bad a few years ago, and then it chilled out, and now let me tell you something. So I was walking home from well, nobody would know, but an area up here,
Uh-huh.
and I saw so many rats, like literally when it looks like just a pile of yeah, you know what I'm talking about. When they look like boiling water.
Oh,
And I was just like, what is going on, right?
oh my
I,
God.
I told my brother about it, and we walk into the train station, and he didn't quite 100% interpret what I meant by no. There's a lot of rats over there. You need to watch out.
Right.
And we saw one, and then two, and then three, four, five, and he was like, "Oh no!" It's a different
Like
day.
we are here.
Dude, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Man, I'm trying to
And
tell
then
you.
I saw the article afterwards, so I'm like, I've
Yeah.
actually seen evidence of this, but it's crazy that Chicago's
Oh
actually
no.
worse.
I hope you don't get this commercial I'm looking at right now. I hope you
Now,
don't get it.
I get different commercials than you.
Oh my God. Oh, this is disgusting as the rats.
Oh no! What? Are you
Oh, no.
kidding me right now?
It's a Postmates commercial. And my man, this fat guy is standing up here in some Daisy Dukes stuffing boiled eggs in his mouth.
Ugh. How that's gonna sell me stationery? Did that make you want stationery?
No, it made me want to be anything but stationary because I wanted to run.
Pause.
Oh my God, that was horrible. That was the worst thing ever. Oh
So,
yeah,
B, you
y'all
been playing
never.
any Mortal Kombat, man? How's your Mortal Kombat
Um,
journey going?
It's going all right. I've been playing some my team because I got I got the Galaxy Opal Derrick Rose. So
Oh, yeah, you
uh
gotta pay your respects.
I had to do my thing with it, a little taste, little taste,
You
taste.
win?
Yeah. I think I'm 4-2 with him on the team.
Hmm.
Um, I lost a game actually earlier today because I was on the phone when I was playing, which is never a good thing for me.
Hmm.
And I lost by like 9, and I actually didn't even realize I was down to the third quarter, which
Was
let
it
me know
5-on-5 or triple threat?
a 5-on-5. Derrick Rose is not a great triple threat online player though.
Hmm.
He's not because he's too small. He's too small. So
They need to fix that next year.
you really,
That's one of the key things I'm looking for. Is
yeah,
that small players don't have an advantage, and
disadvantage. You mean?
no, they don't have an advantage.
Hmm.
Like on the perimeter, small players are an advantage. Like we just been talking about Marc Gasol and Boogie Cousins and stuff like that. The
Right.
reasons they're so bad in the pick and rolls because they're not agile enough. You don't
Right.
have that problem in 2K.
No, yeah, no, that we're saying the same thing. I think we're saying it differently.
Yeah,
Like small players are to me at a disadvantage.
they are. Yeah, and they
Right.
need to be at an
At
advantage.
an advantage on the perimeter. Right.
Yeah, it should be
Yeah,
much harder for big
I did
players
not
to
pull that.
cover small
Like I was
players.
so mad, man. I didn't pull the Galaxy Opal Derrick Rose. I opened like 2 boxes. It might have been 3. And I didn't get them. I got a bunch of Diamond Laurie Markkinens and a bunch of Amethyst Carmelos. It was trash, but I can't complain too much because overall my pack luck is really pretty good. But
Hmm.
this was one particular stint that was bad. But I still ended up getting them because I ended up selling my pink diamond Derrick Rose, and I sold my pink diamond Giannis, and everybody told me I was stupid because I sold it for $120,000 less than what I could have got for it. But I
Mm.
still got I because I sold them. I quick sold them for 100K MT. But the man, where did all the people go? That quick? Look at the seats.
Oh, they just in the back. They just
I
you know what
mean,
it
but
is?
usually
It's the
this is
lines.
the finals, and you ain't back in your seat yet.
The lines are probably crazy out there.
That is crazy. This looked like the fourth quarter of a game between the Timberwolves and
No, I'm willing to bet that all of those people really want to be in their seats, and
yeah, I'm
they just
sure they
have they're
are.
just
They do, and
struggling to
it's
get
just
to it.
whatever. They're gonna have to work on this for game 2.
Yeah, they all probably more mad than you are.
Right. We missing a game.
Hmm.
Pascal Siakam just did something stupid.
Bathroom lines is probably crazy,
Yeah.
and selling out is one thing, but the finals is probably something they're not used to. I mean, we know they haven't been in the finals before, but the environment provided
Yeah.
is something they're not used to.
I wonder when Adrian Griffin's gonna finally get a chance to be a head coach. It's
Is it?
his name has been bantered around so often, and he just always ends up being somebody's first assistant, but he never seems to ever get a chance, you know. And I knew when his little time with the Bulls that he had that head coach type of a feel to him.
Yeah.
Um, but he just and he's always highly regarded as an assistant. He hasn't gotten the opportunity yet. But yet Jason Kidd is about to get his second chance because Jason Kidd is I
Well, he's
mean
an assistant.
yeah, okay. We'll see how long that go because I think that he's basically Frank Vogel. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, did that not look like a 2K pass? A stolen 2K pass? That's straight. The way Gasol just jumped in the passing lane looked like a stolen 2K pass for sure. Can you take him? Can you take him? You got help. What?
That pass was pure intelligence on Gasol's behalf
Yeah,
because he rushed over for
yeah,
the double team and then anticipated the
yes,
rotation. Like that's
yes.
what I'm talking about. Like with
That's
Boogie,
the defensive IQ. Yeah.
woof. I mean, obviously former defensive player of the year,
Wow.
but that is incredible.
Wow. This boy here. Man, I tell you, my respect level for him has grown so much, and I
For
already
who?
had for Steph, man.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
already had
Steph's
respect for
wild.
him anyway, but man, you know, he's relentless. He does as much as that little frail body can take.
He's not that. I don't know why people say that. Like he's not
He's gotten bigger. He definitely has
like
gotten
people
bigger.
don't say that about De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox looked like
That's because De'Aaron Fox is
a
so
controller
freaking
wire.
fast. Yeah, no, Steph has
But
definitely
no, Steph is like a
definitely
big
gotten
person.
stronger. He's definitely gotten stronger.
He's just not as big as NBA players. Like, you know what I mean? Like as bigger NBA players. But
Because when I had a chance to talk to him and interview him back in when was he on the cover with Anthony Davis and James Harden? Was that 16?
I don't remember.
I think it was NBA. I think it was NBA 2K16. So I had a chance to meet him and talk to him in 2015, and he did not have the arms, the
Right.
shoulders and stuff that he has now. He didn't. He was frail then. Like he was tall and like longer than people probably think he is when they see him on television,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely slight. Oh God! That was a late whistle. Siakam is one of them dudes. Siakam is that guy on your team who, when he plays well, y'all are almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
You know, but when he doesn't, he makes you can't stand it.
Yeah, and we had a lot of players like that coming up on the Knicks. Your Xavier McDaniels.
Yeah, John
Where one
Starks.
game he would, be awesome, and then another game it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, John Starks was very much. I mean, when John Starks was knocking down shots, man,
Yeah.
those
Well, with
them
John,
them
it
mid
was more that
'90s
he was
teams,
a
man.
streaky shooter, but we could always rely on his defense.
He's going to defend
Yeah.
all the time, all the time. I didn't realize Siakam was from Cameroon.
Cameroon, it was because he speaks English better than Scottie Pippen.
Wow, he was training to be a priest since he was 15. I didn't know that either. Yeah, I didn't realize he was from Cameroon. Because that's what's it? I think there's 3 players in the NBA with nice pass. Siakam.
So 1989 asks, have we given our picks for the NBA award winners after the finalists were announced?
No, we haven't. Maybe we
No,
should
we
do
haven't
that.
spoken awards very much. We
No.
can do that now. I don't really think we need to cover
Yeah.
that tomorrow, right?
Oof. No, yeah, we
What
can
what
do that.
awards should we discuss?
MVP. We talked a little bit about
Well,
MVP.
MVP we covered all year.
Yeah,
I still have
I think
Giannis.
we.
I don't.
I
The
still think
playoffs
I
haven't
still have
changed my mind
Giannis
on
too.
that. Yeah, yeah.
I still have Giannis.
Especially since his competition's Harden, who, you know, went belly up.
Well, I mean the votes are supposed to be in before that though.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, so
But the people sometimes change their feeling about it, even
yeah,
though who's gonna win is who's gonna win. But my feeling hasn't changed about
yeah,
Giannis.
yeah,
Coach of the year, it's still Coach Bud.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, still
I
Coach
would
Bud.
say it still probably is. It still probably is. Um,
I do have an issue with the All NBA first, second, and third teams. Same thing with the playoff argument. I don't think you should be able to get on those teams if your team is not in the playoffs. Full stop. I don't care what your numbers are. If you
so
average
who
100
are we
points a
talking
game
about?
and
Who are
you
we
can't
talking
get in
about?
the, well, Clay's not on there. Bradley Beal, I believe, was on there.
No, I thought Brad got snubbed.
Did he get snubbed? Oh yeah, he did get snubbed. Who made it? Kemba made it on there. Kemba.
Yeah, he had a heck of a year too, but yeah,
Yeah, but they ain't getting the playoffs though. In the
yeah,
Eastern Conference, no less.
yeah.
And Golden State had the best record in their conference. So normally, what I would say to that is
Slow down, slow down.
you
Why are you playing like
sacrifice those things when you get put on a mega team because your responsibilities are less.
right?
But that's only if your competition makes the playoffs.
Yeah,
For me, playoffs is number one priority. Did you get in the playoffs?
yeah. But here's the thing: in the Eastern Conference, well, you're saying you would have put Clay in above Kimba.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think the production was close enough. Like I think I definitely agree with you if we're talking about close production.
Well, I
Like
think the production's closer when you consider how much monumentally better a defender Clay is.
yeah, yeah, he is. He is. He is. I don't know. Maybe it is. I mean,
Because if
I think
Kemba averaged
the
4 points
production
a game less,
the
but
production is
was
close enough.
yeah,
It's close enough. It's close enough because Clay still averaged 21 and a half a
yeah.
game.
And again, we're not talking about them getting eighth place in the playoffs. We're talking about them missing the playoffs.
Right.
Charlotte missed the playoffs. No,
Yeah.
inexcusable. You're not all NBA if you can't make the playoffs. Half the league gets in the playoffs.
Yeah, and
That's
and
a low bar.
and Clay's a better shooter from
Yeah.
from
So
from
that's
everywhere.
mhm. So that should be motivation for you to get in the playoffs. I can't get what I'm owed until I get into the playoffs. I think that's a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a huge. It's just something to for a guy to have the year that Kimba had and to get no acknowledgement. But you can say the same thing about Brad Beal because Brad Beal had a fantastic year too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And the sky was falling around him.
yeah, and
Injuries and trades and
and Zach had a really good year too. So where do you draw the line? So like, I mean, Zach had a great year statistically, just like Brad did, and just like Kimba did. Zach's numbers are very similar to Brad Beal's. Brad Beal's a little bit better numbers, but they're in the same ballpark. But Brad Beal, I think, has a better case for it than Zach.
yeah.
Brad played all 82 games, which is huge. He scored more points per game. Um, 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 so you I mean that's a big part of it.
You have
I,
Fat John Wall ruining everything before he got hurt.
yeah, John Wall even adopted a fat hairstyle, so that his hairstyle
You
is
got the mini fro and the chin strap.
yeah, man, that's just I mean he started looking like Gerald Levert. So I'm like, you're telling us clearly telling us where you are right now because you wouldn't get Gerald Levert's hairstyle. You know, it's just, I mean, bruh, come on. I thought he was gonna come out there. Oh, Casanova. Like, what is this? I missed that whole trailer. What was that? I turned my head. What trailer was that was playing? It looked like there was
I'm not watching. I'm not getting the same stuff you
it
get.
was like an elderly woman with a gun. What was that? Did somebody who else just saw what I saw? M71408 says that Kawhi Leonard is his pick to be the 2K20 cover athlete. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. It definitely does. Um, there's a lot of different people who oh, that was Terminator. Oh, I think that was Terminator because Sarah Connor is back.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sarah Connor's back. So and Linda Hamilton probably is about 67.
Hmm.
So yeah. But yeah, it looks pretty good. But um yeah, what was I about to say? Yeah, I can see Kawhi Leonard. Here's what we know. We saw the leak today. Dwayne Wade, in case y'all missed it earlier, Dwayne Wade is probably almost for sure going to be the Legends Edition cover athlete because the little GameStop standee leaked again this year, leaked even earlier this year than it did last year. Um, but that's not the standard edition cover, and the standard edition cover is usually an active player. So you got to kind of go like process of elimination, right? So the
Yeah.
people that you can take out. It's not going to be Giannis because he was in it last year, and they haven't gone back to back with the same players since 2K6 and 2K7 when Shaq was on the cover.
Hmm.
So they're kind of not doing that anymore. It's probably not going to be Kyrie, even though he will have the free agency surrounding him thing, and I'm sure that 2K would like that drama that because while they talked about it being a little bit whatever for them to switch covers around, that did bring attention to the game because there was this conversation about which uniform is he going to be wearing on the cover. Are you going to do that? So that ended up probably being a little bit of an overall positive, even though it might have been a pain for the people who had to process and create this new cover or whatever. So but I think it's too soon for him to be there. Paul George had a great year this year. He's a 2K friend, a friend of the 2K family, but he was just on it in 17.
Hmm.
So I don't think he's there. James
Harden's a live guy.
Harden's probably a live guy still, even though he was on 2K16 cover with Steph and Anthony Davis. And then Joel Embiid has been a live
Hmm.
guy, even though Joel Embiid plays 2K like every night. Like he plays 2K, he plays 2K Pro Am like every night.
Uh-huh. Oh, does he?
Yeah. I know
How do you
people
know?
that I know people that play with him.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Pure post scorer. So
That's fantastic.
it's crazy. And I can't imagine EA likes that. I can't imagine EA likes that.
I could see Luka Doncic getting the international cover.
Oh, absolutely. I could see him getting the international cover. I could see him getting the international cover. Now, but if because Kyrie and the whole Kyrie thing with the free agency, because that I mean with the trade thing, how that was a big deal, and they like I said that I think 2K benefited a little bit from that conversation, being surrounded by around him. And even last year with LeBron, what team are you going to play for? Even though they picked him for the
Oh,
Legends edition.
so here's an interesting thing.
Mhm.
Have they locked up their cover athlete yet? Do you think?
Absolutely. Because the cover athlete usually finds out that they're the cover athlete in January and February. I interviewed Paul George in 16 when he was picked to be the cover athlete for 2K17. And
Mm-hmm.
I asked him how long he knew. And he said, "Man, I've been sitting on this secret since February. I couldn't tell nobody." He was
Okay.
like, "Man," he's like, so because they kind of have to tell them so that they can block out their schedule for whatever events and different things they may have planned and the promotional stuff. But because they do like the whole because the hype builds for the game during the off season, right? So whoever figures to be the biggest conversation in the offseason, to me, has a chance. That's why I don't think that Zion Williamson being a cover athlete is out of the question. I think it's possible because he is obviously going to be a big conversation piece. But the other person that people got to think about, if you think about in the offseason, who is what superstar in the league is probably going to be the centerpiece of the offseason conversation in the NBA.
Well, I mean, you've got KD and Anthony Davis. Those are the two guys that are at the top, and Kawhi Leonard, obviously.
Yep,
Those are
that's
the
true.
three guys. But
Those are the
you
three
also
guys.
have, I think, Zion is like going to be the story of the year
Mm-hmm.
going into it with
Mm-hmm.
rookie and everything. And usually they don't go for rookies, something
Right.
you got to earn. But
Yeah, but he's a different kind of rookie.
he is a different kind of rookie. The hype's never. We haven't seen this kind of level of hype in a long
Since
time.
LeBron. I think since LeBron.
So yeah, I could see Zion getting it. Kawhi is just, you know what it is. At the end of the day, if the cover was some kind of best player thing, then yeah, I would have Kawhi in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And Kawhi is putting on so many plays, but at this time, well, or should I say, a few months ago, nobody was talking about
Oh,
Kawhi.
what a play by Siakam. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. If you think about the fact that the decision was made in February,
That's why I asked.
think about it. What were people talking about in January and February? Who were they talking about?
I mean, mostly Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving,
I think Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis, but he's been on the cover already.
Sure, he has. He has. He was on 16 with he shared it with Harden and with Steph. But I think that might just be enough of a space there to say, all right, we can put him back out there, especially if you think about the fact that in February around the trade deadline, everything was Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was Anthony Davis. So that's why I'm at first, because I'll be honest, I don't like that. I know. I love Anthony Davis. He's a Chicago guy. I love him. Right? Cool. I had a chance to talk to him before. It was really cool. It was a cool conversation. I could tell he really loves 2K, like for real, for real. Not like
Yeah.
he plays it, but eh, eh,
Well, again, if you're not in the playoffs, why you get to be on the cover of a game? Like even in terms of
you're right.
popularity,
You're right.
like
You're right.
because his
You're
team
right.
didn't look like they were going to be in the playoffs.
You're right. You're right. No, they didn't miss the playoffs because he got hurt. They
No.
missed the playoffs and he got hurt.
Right.
So yeah, no,
And you figure they're
I don't
saving
think I would
LeBron.
much rather have Kawhi on the cover.
They're probably saving LeBron for when he starts to wind down, right? Like he's probably got a Legend Edition coming. And
Well,
he
he
was
was
just
on.
he just had it.
He just had it.
Yeah.
The one I thought is that they should have had is I thought because this is 2K20, nice round year, that Allen Iverson should have been the Legends Edition cover. You take it full circle back to the beginning,
Uh-huh.
and he still has all kinds of real street
That makes
cred.
sense. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just
Oh
thought
yeah,
that
for
I
sure.
thought that this was the time for him. But I mean, I understand Dwayne Wade because he's coming off retirement.
You
You
know
know,
who's a huge friend of 2K that we didn't mention?
who is that?
Damian Lillard.
He is. He is. And but see, February, January, was he hot? Like that? Like if he had just hit that shot, that bye-bye shot, oh
Yeah.
yeah, he would have that would have been the cover. Him going like this,
Mm-hmm.
waving
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
bye-bye. But because I understand when these decisions are made, I think that's you got to look at who was being talked about at that
Yeah.
time,
Yeah. No,
and
you're
I
right.
think
It's
yeah, I
Anthony
think it's
Davis,
somebody
Kevin
in a
Durant.
trade
But
situation.
Kevin hasn't gotten his solo cover yet, has he?
Yeah, he did 15.
15 he got solo cover, okay.
Yeah, 15.
And Paul George was on 14, was he?
17.
17.
Yeah. And because 16 was Curry, Harden, and Anthony Davis all had their own covers.
Mm-hmm.
14 was LeBron.
I'll tell you
That's
what, Curry deserves his own cover.
he absolutely deserves his own cover. Yeah, and you can't really say 16 was him getting his own cover
No.
because he shared it with three other people. I
And
mean,
you
with
could
four
also
other
say
people.
the same thing for the Brow.
Yeah, right.
And the
Which is
idea that the Brow would be going to LA or New York and get the cover on the new team,
that's pretty sexy, right?
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
pretty
could
sexy.
and again the Brow's been all over the storylines and doing a lot of work for them.
And if you
So
think about it like this, a lot of times I think that these businesses cross, and there may be some knowledge out there that Anthony Davis is going to end up in one of these major markets. They
well,
may
okay.
you
Let's
know
talk about that for a second. Because we've discussed this before, you know.
mhm.
The game's in a little bit of a lull right now. I'm on commercial break. Um, I am terrified that the Knicks have the best opportunity to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Because here's my thinking, and tell me if I'm crazy here. I think the best prospect available in terms of the teams being discussed, the best two prospects are Jason Tatum and Mitchell Robinson. Those are the two that if I'm New Orleans, I want those guys
You talking about of the people that are out there available.
that they discuss.
Yeah.
I would take
Oh,
Mitchell
if you're
Robinson
New
over the
Orleans. Okay, I got
Lakers.
it. I got it.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
got it.
yeah. I would take Mitchell Robinson over all the Lakers. Easy. Right? So somebody wrote Gordon
Yeah.
Hayward.
Yeah, I
I
would.
think
I would.
we need to see Gordon Hayward healthy before he regains his value. And he also costs a lot of money, whereas Mitchell Robinson and Jason Tatum aren't earning money yet.
Yeah.
So the thing is from a marketing standpoint, and I can't we say this a few times on the show, but I can't stress it enough. When you're in a small town, it means much, much more to you to sell tickets and fill those seats. Having RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson reunite is the best thing they could do in terms of selling tickets.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about think about it like this, right? If you are New Orleans, you are almost able to bring the fan base from a basketball crazed state
Yeah,
that doesn't have a professional team
right.
to you because you just took the two best players from the biggest one the 1A and the 1A school from the state that doesn't have a professional basketball team. Well, Charlotte, I'm sorry, Charlotte. I'm very sorry, Charlotte. So yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot about Charlotte. See what happens when you don't make the playoffs? You get forgotten about. But I mean, man, there's still a good percentage of Duke fans who are going to dig New Orleans because they got Zion and RJ Barrett.
I'm gonna ask for a 20-second timeout. D Johnson has a lot of credibility on this show.
And he just said Ken Bazemore. He did. He
How do you
did
feel
that.
about that?
I feel that
With his track record, we should
with his track record, I think it's
we're just gonna let
permissible.
that slide, D
We're
Johnson.
gonna let
We're
it
just gonna
go.
let that go.
We're gonna let it go.
We ain't gonna
But
debate that with you.
we're not gonna do that
Act
to
like
you.
you
We're gonna
ain't pro-
act like you didn't say that. And you know what? And I'm gonna give him so much props because he's never changed his avatar from a Clippers logo
Shout
forever.
outs to that.
So you get props over here. Oh, who knows? Who knows what song I just gave a shout out to? If you real hip hop fans, you know what I just
Ooh.
said. I said you get props over here. Come on, somebody in the chat. Somebody tell me what I just hit. You get props over here. Come on. Y'all disappointed me. Y'all are disappointing me right now.
So a quick note on the game. Pascal Siakam has been doing whatever he feel like against
Yes, he
Draymond
has.
Green.
He has. But you
And
know
on
what?
the
They're
other
never.
end,
They're not forcing him left at all.
well, I think they're not keying in on him because they
Woo.
didn't know how he was going to play. So on the other end, though, this is one of those plays that a guy's not going to get credit for. Kyle Lowry bodied up Draymond in the paint and prevented him from getting a gimme post up play, like an easy post up, fade
Yeah.
5 feet
You
from the
said Kyle
basket.
Lowry. Kyle
Kyle
Lowry
Lowry
did.
did that. It was,
There you
you
go,
know,
damn dropper. There you go, beat nuts. You get props over here. Yes. There we go. There we go. We
and
in here.
if the Warriors do pull this game out, Steph Curry getting to the free throw line is going to be one of the main reasons. He's been doing an excellent job of being aggressive and drawing the contact.
Yeah, he been flailing all over the place.
Yeah. Now the thing I would be concerned about is that's been the best part of their offense. Like
Yeah.
they've gotten a few Warriors plays, but they've only scored, you know, 74 points, and we almost
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
75, 77 now,
they
76
can
now.
beat like that. They can beat like they're not the better team right now. I think they need KD, man. I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
We'll see.
I don't think they need Kevin, but they can't lose Kevin and not replace him with a professional basketball player.
No, I'm talking about for this series.
Oh, I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
I think that's very possible. Like I said, I'm going to give them the respect of choosing the Warriors. Give Steph the respect, although Kawhi Leonard is just a beast monster.
Yeah.
On both sides.
And here's the scary thing. He's not even having a great game.
No, he's not yet. Fourth
Yeah.
quarter's on the way. He's almost every playoff game that he hasn't had a great game. He's been great in the fourth quarter, almost every one. So the main thing for me with Toronto, Siakam's playing very well right now, and if he plays this well throughout the series, the Warriors have a serious problem on their hands.
Yeah.
The main thing with Toronto is they don't have a bona fide killer off the bench. They don't have a Lou Williams, Bobby Jackson.
Imagine if they had Derrick Rose coming out.
Vernon Maxwell. Oh my God, Derrick Rose on this team would be amazing.
Yes, he
but
would.
Can his knees take the cold?
Stop. Hey, see? Hey, wait, where's he from?
We want to go over his injury history in Chicago.
See, this is what he didn't get. Well, he did get hurt in Chicago. Now, every other time he's gotten hurt, it hasn't been in Chicago. The first time he got hurt,
he need a Diamond Opal medical staff.
Oh,
a Galaxy Opal doctor.
Oh, that was the worst thing ever said to anyone ever.
Hit the like button if y'all enjoyed that.
That was just terrible. Could not believe you said such a thing about Derek. All the way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to finish that though. See, but that right there. That right there is leadership and basketball IQ. The lead is down to 4. Mm-hmm. The Toronto's offense has stagnated the last few times down the floor, and you just hit a big corner 3 from Golden State. Kawhi recognized that and
go right to the basket.
I'm going to the basket. I'm going to the basket. Worst thing gonna happen, I'm going to the line.
And what I've been saying all year is that the thing about Kawhi that makes him more unique than any other superstar I've ever seen is his ability to switch from elite role player to elite go-to guy.
Yep.
Not decent go-to guy. Not decent role player.
Yeah.
Elite role player. He'll park in the corner. Yep. He'll just play defense. He'll move the ball. And when it's time, he gonna give you all-time great leadership.
He's like a 2K player. I mean, he's like a dude in 2K, because it's like in 2K they don't have a mind of their own. So if you ain't look at him. If you haven't been giving him the ball, his stats ain't gonna drop.
Right.
You
Other
know what I'm
people are like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's a stupid pass, Fred. Oh my God.
It's funny because you picked the Warriors, but well, you did say you were rooting for
Yeah, I'm
Toronto.
rooting for the Raptors. No doubt, no question.
Oh yeah, that was a bad pass. Yeah, Fred
That's
Van
a good
Fleet
shot.
Van Vliet has to get under control here.
Yeah, he's a little under control. He looked too much like Drake. I think that's the problem.
Yo, you know what's funny? Ariel Harwani.
Yeah.
I was cooking steaks,
Uh-huh.
and I
Man, that
turned.
sounds good.
Yo, it was delicious. It was delicious. Ask my brother. It was delicious. Um, so I was cooking steaks, and I turned back to the screen. I was like, "Oh wow, Drake's doing color commentary." I was like, "Oh, that's not Drake. That's Ariel Harwani. My bad.
Right.
I apologize. Wasn't close to my monitor."
Now, what in the world was that? Now, can you tell me what in the blue devil hell Serge Ibaka was doing on that drive? The success rate for I understand the clock was running down, but the success rate for that drive
That
was
pass was
very
ridiculous.
low.
Yeah, that was tough. See, that's low IQ on their
Yes,
behalf because you're supposed to catch that ball in the corner and wave Kawhi Leonard back over.
that was just
You got to
terrible.
wave Kawhi back over on that play.
Yeah, that was
You can't do that.
but you got Serge Ibaka
Tim Hamer said Fred need to have another baby.
to correct this game.
Uh, for those of you watching the show that don't know, Fred Van Vliet was shooting terribly. Then his kid was delivered, and he shot like 80% for the rest of the playoffs up until now.
That's right. Hey, I ain't mad at you, bro.
Allen
Damn.
Houston, I remember a similar thing happened. Not that he was shooting bad before that, but his baby got delivered, and he showed up and destroyed in the
Yeah.
playoffs. That was awesome.
Yeah, that is dope. That's good stuff.
So
Man,
this is what I was talking about before, where when the game gets close, I trust Kawhi Leonard more than anybody else in the series unless
yeah.
KD gets back. And I'm
Okay.
of the thinking that
Yeah.
KD's not going to play at all.
Yeah, yeah, I've been hearing that more and more lately. Tay Shakira, you're right. Kawhi did just play great those last couple of minutes. Just
100%.
overall, everything, all things considered, he played great
Mm-hmm.
because he kept that had the look of one of those third quarters that could have ended with Golden State going on a run. And even though you've outplayed them the majority of the game, they're up
They
by
just
1 or
wind
2.
up. And the interesting thing about Golden State in this series in particular is because Toronto is so long and some of their guys are so physical defensively.
Mm-hmm.
The Clay and Steph have to and Draymond have to expend a lot of energy. So
Yeah.
late in games, if they don't have a cushion and they have to come back, play extra minutes,
Yeah.
shoot those, make those really, really tough shots.
Yeah. Without
And then on the
Durant.
other end, right. And the thing we haven't talked about a bit is Marc Gasol is killing them right now.
Yeah.
Like Marc Gasol is playing super intelligent and bailing them out with like post up plays and 3-pointers and great passes. I'm sure his numbers aren't insane or anything when you look at his box score.
No, it's just the presence though.
Yeah, man. What an acquisition.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he is 5 of 9 with 16 points, so he is actually.
Oh, he is having a good game.
And y'all, my witness, I didn't look up the box score before I said that. He's plus 10. He says the highest plus minus in the game.
Yeah. And he'll probably play the whole fourth quarter.
Iggy is minus 10 and 1 for 5. And, I mean, Kawhi is 4 for 12, but he's 8 for 9 from the 3-point line.
For free throw.
Wow, it's scary that they're up 7 points and Kawhi is having.
That's what I'm saying,
so
man. That's what I'm saying. They up, and Kawhi is 4 for 12.
Yeah. What y'all think, chat?
That's gangster.
Yeah.
M71408 says that Iggy shows up in the fourth quarter. Hey, M71408, from moving forward, I'm not saying your entire name anymore. I'm just going to say M numbers.
Yeah. Would you prefer M numbers or M7? You got to choose though.
I can't keep saying M71408. I feel like I'm calling somebody out of cell block D or something. I can't do it.
Oh, no problem, D Johnson. See, that's why you get a pass for mentioning Kent Bazemore's name in trades.
Yeah.
That's why you get a pass. Your record speaks for yourself.
Yeah. Now you missed your pass there. That look, Van Vliet missed Siakam in the corner. Driving hard right, Siakam's open in the corner, posting up for the corner three, and he forced it. Got lucky to get bailed out with a foul.
Yeah, especially as hot as Siakam's been.
Siakam looked like the dude. What's the you y'all
Don't say
forgive me.
nothing offensive now. Oh, here we go.
Y'all forgive me in advance. But he looked like
His email is
he
y'all want to
Pascal
contact him
Siakam.
about this tape.
I'm trying to tell y'all, Pascal Siakam looks like I'm the captain now, dude.
Oh, I
Has
knew you
been
was
put
going there.
like he been put on a premium nourishment. Like he has got a personal trainer.
How was that movie? I haven't seen that movie.
I haven't seen it. I've never seen it. You know what? Tom Hanks is one of those guys who I 100% trust no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic actor.
I just trust. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to see Road to Perdition. I was like,
so good.
oh my God.
You know that started out as a comic, right?
Man, oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a graphic novel first.
And you know what? Even now knowing that, I liked it. I appreciate it even more because that feel was translated.
Yeah, because it was very visual for that kind of movie. If y'all haven't seen Road to Perdition, that is a awesome
one of the most overrated. Movie. I mean, one of the most underrated gangster films.
Absolutely.
Ever. And it's not like don't go in there looking for Scarface because that's not what it is. No. It's more than that. It's more than that.
Yeah, that came out and like around that time in movies, there was a bunch of like cold movies coming out. I remember History of Violence came out.
Ooh, History of Violence was so dope. Viggo Mortensen.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, man, I watched what in the world was this?
In a Western. What was it? Open Range, I think it was. The Kevin Costner joint.
Open Range was fire.
See, me and you might have to watch a movie or something.
I'm telling you, man. Open Range is dope. History of Violence is such a fantastic character study. And it really is. Viggo's a heck of an art actor too.
Oh, Viggo's great. Viggo's great. We watching Sean Livingston.
That's a 4-point game. That's a 4-point game. Now see, I don't know. How low? Oh God, look at this. How bad do you let it get before you get Kawhi back? Oh.
It's interesting because as long as that's ugly.
Yeah, this was all ball, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. You mentioned this before, and I saw him do this in Milwaukee when he would get switched and caught on Giannis. Kyle Lowry does as good of a job as an undersized defender in the post of any guard I can think of.
Fantastic. He's young Chris Paul level.
Yeah, that's that lower, that thick lower base. Mm-hmm. He's not as easy to move as you would think.
That was all ball too.
That was all ball.
That's a tough call at home. On a play like that, it's a tough call.
If he would have shot. You got to get the ball out of Van Vliet's hand because something bad gonna happen.
Van Vliet might need to sit down to the next game.
Oh, what a move by Van Vliet! Even though I think he traveled, but that was still a heck of a shot. That was a heck of a shot. Oh, what a block, Sergi blocker. My mama said I can't have no company. I'm ringing my bell.
I don't know if that was a travel.
It looked like it was. Let me see how many steps he took.
It was a Canada step.
Gather 1, 2. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. He didn't even take the second step because his foot didn't even come down.
So this is very wow. Serge Ibaka is just as tall as Cousins. Am I seeing that wrong?
Go grab it. Oh, what a play!
So here's an interesting stretch because you said, how long do you let this go?
No, he's back now.
Oh, they put him back in already?
Yep, he's back.
Because I like to think you let that go on. As long as you have the lead, you want to let Kawhi sit.
Yeah,
because
you
the
do. You want to
more
milk it as
energy he
far as you
had,
can.
yeah, just keep the lead. I would definitely let it get to 3 points. And
Yeah, it was 4. It was 4 when I said that.
yeah,
It was 90-86 when I said that.
yeah, but it was early. Because if
Yeah,
Kawhi comes back with 6, 7 minutes left, ready to go, that's pack it up territory.
yeah.
Especially since,
I love this commercial. Yesterday, I had to delete a picture of my grandma just so I could add a picture of my grandma.
I remember that. I seen that one.
It's 2 Chains and it's an Asian comedian, female comedian. I don't know her name, but I've seen her before. I gotta write 3 more articles tonight. Y'all pray for me.
Yeah, I gotta draw some pictures too. We all going back to work. As you see what we do for y'all,
Right.
it's our dedication to the craft.
Dedication. Oh man, I no, that's a little too small. I like the design of this little SUV, but it's a
So,
little too small.
somebody asked where Jason Battle was. He just wrote on Twitter, Siakam ain't doing this game too.
We'll see. You know what, Tay? That's exactly how I feel. It'll get done. One way or the other, it'll get done. May not get done on the schedule that I planned, which would be so much nicer if I could stick to my schedule better, but it ain't been happening.
You know what I think is also not going to happen next game? I think Fred VanVleet is going to be better next game.
Yeah.
I think his first finals came out a little jittery, a little rushed, and Nick Nurse. By the way, Nick Nurse appears to be a fantastic basketball coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was his, I think he outcoached Budenholzer in the Milwaukee
He
series.
did. He did. He really did.
Budenholzer, I've been saying it since the Boston series in Game One that the defense that the Raptors were playing was leaving holes, and he never adapted and took advantage of it. He kept putting Eric Bledsoe on the floor with Giannis for long stretches,
Yeah.
and they just kept Darren Bledsoe to shoot, and he kept shooting terribly.
Yeah. Man, they got this X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer. Looks better each time I see it. Marvel would break the world if they had a Avengers versus X-Men movie. Oh, it would
For
break
those
it.
watching the show who aren't familiar with me and what I do, I'm a professional comic book artist and as a guy who still currently receives royalty checks from Marvel. I cannot comment,
I
discuss,
I know you
opinionate,
I know
or
you could.
inform
I know you could, but
on
it was
anything Marvel related.
that's just me. This is Brian Mazique talking, who gets
Yeah.
nothing from Marvel outside of enjoyment when I like one of the movies. But whatever.
Hashtag don't get fired. Hashtag not going to be able to do
Not gonna be able to do it.
it.
Not gonna be able to do it.
Not going to be able to do it.
But yeah, it would be that would break the world.
I cannot talk Marvel, DC, or pretty much anything comic related.
Yes. Well, we won't say anything else about them. They have the State
You
Farm.
you can say anything you want.
Well, I was just saying, you know. Oh man, Secret Wars. Oh my God, how dope would that be? Or Contest of Champions. I'm old. I'm telling y'all, I'm old. Who remembers Contest of Champions? Oh God, that was so. Y'all don't understand how insanely hyped I would be when I would get a new issue of Contest of Champions. I think it was only it feels like it was only 4. Might have been more than that. I don't remember.
I haven't played. I have a friend who's really, really into Contest of Champions. I
No, no,
haven't
no.
messed
The
with it too much.
comic book series.
Oh, the comic book series. No, I haven't
Yeah,
messed with
back
that.
in the 80s.
I've read Secret Wars as a kid. It was one of my favorite comics. The
Secret Wars was
Beyonder
fantastic.
with the Beyonder.
Fantastic.
Woo, looking like what's David Hasselhoff?
Yeah, Secret Wars was great. I would love to see like a movie, like a Marvel Encyclopedia movie. Just and like they like kind of jump back and forth, telling like different origin stories and stuff. Oh, Siakam is no, Jason Battle about right. Siakam ain't gonna make this. He ain't gonna make these shots. He is not gonna make these shots. Offensive foul, big Boogie. Boogie just don't look right, man. He just don't look right.
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
it
Like
is he's non-committal in terms of scoring. he's out here playing like he's who am I thinking? He's out here playing like he Mark West or something. Like
Mm.
that's looks he don't look like Boogie. And if you're not getting Boogie, what are you getting?
Well, this is what I'm saying in terms of like he has to play himself into shape in the NBA finals, and that's just not a matter of it's not a matter of skill. It's also a matter of timing and
Yes,
reps.
timing is really what's just missing right now.
And what we're seeing in this game is this series is so tight. You basing off the hope that Boogie is gonna get that,
Uh-huh.
and what you're paying for that is every pick and roll play that he doesn't get. That's a down payment on you getting Boogie back. And the funny thing is, I think in this series against Marc Gasol, having a post up threat is not a priority. That's not your road to victory. Yeah,
Hmm.
Boogie has been making excellent passes, but again, I don't know if that is worth the pick and roll defense you're giving up.
Yeah. And the fact that what you just yeah, no, yeah, he didn't look good. I mean, it's just his first game, so I'm not gonna that's go
You only got 7.
yeah, hopefully. The way this is the way they better that's not guaranteed. He just traveled, but they didn't call that. He shuffled his feet. Kyle Lowry got 5.
Boogie got away with a few things tonight.
No, that wasn't Boogie. They said Boogie down already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he sat him down right after that. After he just almost took Ibaka's head out of the
I
whole
thought you was
building.
ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm ahead of you. Boy, Kevon Looney looked like the black Chris Dudley on the free throw line with that one. That would look really bad. Boy, you ain't don't you leave out here to go decompress. Sit your butt down. Kyle Lowry is shot like trash, but he played good. He's played well today. This is a scrappy game, and what he's done has been enough. You know what? They got to stop getting this shot. Golden State's going to make an adjustment, and they're going to start leaving Ibaka, and they're going to make Ibaka beat them while he's on the floor. Because it's just, I'm telling you, I think that is, and it's because here comes Gasol right now, which is, I think, is a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah.
Because when you can't effectively run this pick and roll with this 1-5 pick and roll with Ibaka, because he's just not making the shots.
Hmm. Yeah, Baca hasn't looked comfortable shooting the ball
At
today.
all.
Yeah, he's made a couple, but not looking strong.
Oh, corner 3, Danny Green is the Predator's blood.
Danny Green is the Predator's blood. No, you're gonna have to veto that one. Disapprove.
That's a really good play by Siakam because he drew all the attention to the middle of the floor, which only created the more spacing for the corner 3.
Lay, it's not necessarily that we're so much behind you guys. The stream is behind you guys. So even if we see something at the same time as you, it's gonna happen later.
Right. Man, I can't wait to see Ma. I'm going to see Ma tomorrow with my wife and one of my daughters and one of my sons, and I am looking forward to it.
I like how you said one of your daughters and one of your sons, like you hadn't decided yet.
No,
like they
what?
still having a contest or
Right,
battle to see who
right.
wins.
They're gonna have a Mortal
After you see their
Kombat
report
tournament to see.
cards, then you
They're gonna have a
decide.
Mortal Kombat tournament to see. No, it's because the other two don't live here. So
Okay. Yo, what up, Isaac Elias Jr. in the chat? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Isaac? How you doing?
My man finally made it for a show. Isaac
What?
is a huge fan of the show. He's been a lurker for quite some time.
Okay, all right. What up, Ike?
Yeah, that's actually his handle on the video games. I ain't gonna say the rest of his handle. I'll tell you after the show.
Yay, yay. Oh my
So
God.
yeah, and this is a reminder for anybody who is coming in later to the show. Today we're doing a watch party for the NBA Finals. Obviously, we can't show you guys the footage, but we can
Right.
discuss what we see and related NBA topics along with it. This isn't the actual At Me Bro show. This is just a viewing party, and we are going to do an actual show tomorrow.
Yeah, so y'all see this show. It probably won't be live, but you'll see it go up. Thanks you. I appreciate that, Isaac. You'll see it go live at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Yeah. The little lady on the Corona commercial just got my attention. I just thought I'd share that with everybody. She did, yeah.
No comment.
Hey, I'm just saying. I didn't say nothing. She got my attention. Get out the way, yo.
Player of the game is clearly Pascal Siakam. Render, for sure. Render, what's up, man? Thank you for hopping in the chat.
Yes, player of the game, I would say, is definitely Pascal Siakam. But game ain't over yet.
Absolutely not. That's just so far.
Yeah.
The main thing with Pascal is he's winning the Draymond Green matchup. And I don't think Pascal has to play this well because Kawhi will play better. And I think Fred
Look at
VanVleet
that.
will play better.
Look at that. Since 4:57 of the second quarter, Pascal Siakam is perfect from the field. And he made the same amount of field goals as Golden State.
Yeah. So Pascal doesn't have to play out of this world great the way he is right now. But if he draws even or wins the Draymond Green matchup, that is a serious problem for Golden State.
Kick it out right there. Something looks. Does anybody else feel that Draymond doesn't seem to be playing up the same level of energy as he normally does? I kind of was waiting on him to pick it up, but he hasn't yet.
Well, we discussed this a little bit before that with the bodies that Toronto has. We said this on the last show. He's not going to be able to just take off and run down court and do whatever he feels like it throughout this series. And they've got a nice mix of bodies on the glass, people athletic in transition, and people that are going to challenge him for really the garbage plays.
Yeah.
So, and then the fact that he hasn't played in, a week and a half could throw his rhythm off a lot.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the level of energy, though. It's just not there. One thing I will say, Kawhi's turned the ball over a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, and I know this is just game one, and it's 6.5 minutes left in the game. This one's not even over, but
Yeah, with Golden State, there's no score that could be up there that would make me think it's over.
No, yeah, but what I was getting at is, how are you if you're DeMar DeRozan right now?
I don't know if it's really that necessarily. Like people keep pointing back at DeMar, but
No, I'm saying just what I'm saying is to have suffered and struggled in this city for this organization to try to get to this point for so many years and to have been relatively close. That's if that had gone down. To have been relatively close and to now be watching the team get led to this particular point on the cusp of where they
honestly,
they are.
I would think part of it is I think partially he's happy for some
I
of
think
his
he's happy for
guys.
Kyle and some of them,
Yeah, he's happy
but
for
I
Kyle
think
and those
I
guys.
think it would be it's hard not to feel like, dang, like I would have loved to have been a part of that.
The weird thing for that though is basically you were traded straight up for Kawhi Leonard, and
Yeah,
Kawhi is doing the things that you didn't do well, like
exactly. So
shooting threes
as
and
a
defending.
Yeah,
So
but exactly, that's my whole point. Like, as a person, as a man, as a human being, sitting up here watching the dude you got traded head, that only makes it worse. It'd have been easier if it was a package deal, because then you could have been like, oh well, the sum of the parts. No, homie, they traded you for him, and now they're better, and now they're in the championship, and you're
but
not.
Kawhi was already a Finals MVP, and he'd already been a better defender by far, scoring wise.
No, I
DeMar's
get it.
had
I
years where they were
get what
equal.
you're
Like,
saying.
yeah,
I'm
I
saying,
think
but
he
think
knew
about
Kawhi's a
if
better
you're
player.
DeMar, though.
But if you're DeMar, you know Kawhi's a better player than you.
I say I don't think that NBA players think that way. I
They
don't think
know.
they. I don't think they think that way.
I've heard them say so.
Especially not when you're as good as DeRozan. When you're as good as DeMar DeRozan, you have every right to think, hey, I can. There's nobody. If
Can we just take a quick pause to talk about how cold that Kawhi Leonard shot was, though?
that was nasty.
That's
That was nasty.
cold. And we literally said just that. That in the fourth quarter, if y'all are close, or in this case, leading,
Mhm.
Kawhi Leonard in this series is the guy you want. And I reiterate, I do not think Kevin Durant will be playing basketball for the Golden State Warriors again.
You remember I said that to you. I said
What?
that I didn't. I can see him not playing.
Oh, I agree. I don't think I
I
disagreed with you.
don't
I think
know
I agreed
that.
with you.
I don't know that this is that he can't play.
Oh,
I
I
think
think he
that if
said he
I
can't
think
play.
if it was a different situation, he might play.
I disagree with that.
I don't
He's
know.
he's he's walking with a pretty severe limp and has done zero basketball activities.
I hear you.
Zero.
I
Like
hear
a
you.
zero. He's not cleared by the. This is what my
No,
point
I
with
hear
that is.
you.
You're
What I'm
saying
saying,
that,
I'm
but
not
there's
saying he would
evidence that
play.
we have to
I'm
address.
not saying he would be playing. I'm saying the fact that it's pretty much like I'm leaning towards that. I don't think we're going to see him at all.
Well, but okay, so here's where we disagree.
Oh my God! I
I
thought that
think
one.
we're not going to see Kevin Durant at all because his calf strain was extremely severe, not
Okay.
because he's not cleared to play.
Yeah. No, I
Like
get you.
if he was cleared to
I
play, I would think you have something to say. But when a guy literally is not cleared for any basketball activities at all whatsoever, I don't
no.
think I think it's unfair to speculate on he's sitting out
No,
because
I don't. I'm not
or
saying
would
he's
be sitting
sitting.
out
I'm
because.
not saying he is sitting out. I'm saying that I'm of the belief that even if he progresses to a place where he's like 85, 90%, I don't think he's gonna play.
I think if he gets to 80, I think if he's cleared by the doctors to play, he'll play.
We'll see.
The problem is his. I just think the injury is that severe though. Like
It
I
might
don't
be.
think this
It
is a
might be.
like this. We talk about this like it's an actual topic. His injury was an extremely severe calf strain that everyone, including yourself, everyone who's had this calf strain has said you're out a month easy, and I mean easy, right? And the initial prognosis was 3 to 6 weeks optimistically. And then after that, they said it's worse than we thought it was. And he said he's had calf strains before, but this is worse than those.
Yeah. I can tell it was. I can tell it was. I'm just all I'm
And
saying.
up till now, he's done zero basketball activities. He's literally not even shooting around and is still walking with a limp.
Yeah. Now,
Like,
I'm not saying that he's ready to play. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if he were to get to the level that he would be ready. Oh, I was about to say it. Did he do it again? Yeah, I was going to say if he gets to the level where he would be ready in a different situation, I think that because of where they would be in the series and because he wouldn't be 100% and because he would be risking re-injury, I don't think he would play. Good defense, Siakam.
and I think that is completely baseless speculation.
I I mean I don't think it's baseless because it's the basis is the fact that you're not 100%. There is a chance for injuring yourself. You are going into free agency. You're probably leaving this franchise almost 100%. And depending on where the series is at the time, there could be a question as to whether or not you can alter things one way or the other because you're not 100%.
Real quick,
And
D Johnson says he's shooting free throws. Yeah, I'm saying he's not shooting jumpers. Like you could be in a
no,
wheelchair and
no,
shoot
he's shooting
free
flat-footed
throws.
stuff.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
shooting
You can't.
flat-footed
He's
stuff.
not. He's literally just walking, limping around.
Yeah. No, I like I said, I am not arguing that he's ready to play and that he should be. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying all these things considered, what's going on with him from a physical and a financial and professional standpoint. This just feels like I'm sitting out this whole series and it make that's it. That's it. Go home. Everybody go home. Go home. That's it. Go home. Turn it off. Turn it off. Get your remote. Get your remote. Turn it off.
Dude,
Click the button.
Kawhi is so patient.
Click the button. It's over. Click it up. Click it up. Click it up. Get your clicker.
Yo,
Get
this
get your
fool hit
clicker.
a Derek Fisher shot.
Get your clicker. Get your clicker. It's over. Because he hit a leaning off the glass, rim in, rim out three. Yep. Oh, see, this is, you got to take him. You got to, Danny, you got to pass that, Danny, because this is not your life. 12-point lead with 2.5 left.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a beautiful drive and left hand finish by Mr. Curry.
It's crazy that they're basically playing zone though. Like the Warriors.
Yeah.
Steph was on Siakam, and Draymond Green didn't even rotate.
It's almost like similar to what the Raptors were doing to the Bucks.
Yeah, the problem is that's not a viable. It might work for a few possessions, but long term, that's not a strategy that I think works against the Raptors.
Not against the Raptors, no. They move the ball too well.
Well,
And
literally everybody on the court can shoot.
yeah. Most consecutive 30-point games in franchise playoff history.
Yeah, he deserves a lot of credit, and I don't buy into this narrative that he needs a Finals MVP. I think Finals MVP is a grossly overrated, award. It's a voted on award that has many, 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 many controversial um, elements. In addition to the fact that it
Oh,
completely
that's a two.
dismisses the rest of the entire playoffs.
Well, I think that there are some Finals MVPs that are kind of iffy, right? Like I think there's two in particular that come to mind. You could say three, but two specifically. Cedric Maxwell in I think 81 or 82 for the Boston Celtics. That one's definitely iffy. Now he had a heck of a series. He had a heck of a series. But the thing of it is, does he have that series if he doesn't play with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that thing. And then there's the Iguodala Finals MVP,
Mm-hmm.
which he essentially got for not getting as roasted by LeBron as everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
When
So
in a series where all you had to do was guard LeBron, you had to guard nobody else.
you have to do nothing else. Yet you're out here with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, who are all carrying arguably a bigger load on both ends of the floor. I know you got LeBron, and I understand that, and you deserve credit for that. But in Finals MVP, I don't know. The only other one that you might be able to throw into there is this Chauncey Billups one, but I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that.
Well, my thing is, even the ones, this whole discussion is based on the fact that it's a subjective award. So I don't want to put a guy's legacy on the line for a subjective award, particularly in the case of Steph Curry, when he's in his 5th finals in a row, has led the league in scoring, is a back-to-back MVP, like, and his finals numbers is not like they're trash.
I mean,
It's not like
Steph needs
he's.
a Finals MVP for what? I mean, what are people trying to hold back from him if he doesn't get that?
I think it's putting him in like that top 10
Oh
player
man, that
discussion all time.
this kid don't have to make another jump shot for the rest of his
He's
life, and his
first
legacy is
ballot Hall of
secure.
Famer.
It's above that. He's
One
not
thing,
just the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's more than that. Whatever the next level is above that, he's already on that.
yeah, he's just below the top. He's not in the top 10 player discussion yet, and I don't think this Finals MVP puts him in the top 10 player discussion because he's just not the defensive player that most people in the top 10 are.
Exactly, and he'll never. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he can get any better than he
Yeah,
is.
like no matter
Like
what
his
Steph Curry
legacy can't
does.
get any better. He's the
Yeah.
greatest shooter that ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. Okay. He's already won 3 championships. Bam. He's already won multiple MVPs. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Like there ain't nothing else left.
And he also changed the game.
Yeah,
which he deserves credit for.
because he's the greatest shooter that ever lived.
So unless he grows 3 inches and finds a couple picograms of jumping ability,
right,
like
it's
he's not gonna be Kobe Bryant. Like he's not
no,
better than Kobe
no.
Bryant.
I
That's
think he's right under that tier
yeah, he's
of
under Kobe tier.
under the Kobe tier.
So let me ask you: would you put him in Larry Bird tier?
No,
Okay, that's
no,
interesting.
no. Because Larry to me is Larry's in the Mike, Kobe, LeBron tier. Larry's in the Mike, Kobe, LeBron tier, and like Mike, Kobe, LeBron, Magic, Kareem. That's that tier to me. Even like in Wilt and Olajuwon. I think those are the only people I would put. Durant's coming close. He's right in. He's right
Iggy's
there.
limping. That's a
Yeah, that's not good.
horrible look for the
They can't
Warriors.
afford no more injuries.
And it's funny. I was discussing this with Jason Battle. I said this exactly. I said, "In Iggy's health is something we have to look at."
Yeah.
And he said, "Iggy's fine." And I said, "He's come up limping a bunch of times, and we're getting further and further into this, and he's going to be guarding Kawhi Leonard."
Oh, he just traveled.
That's something you have. And he's older. That's something you got to keep an eye on. He's not 100%, and he's going to be doing things that a top athlete is doing. And here we go. He's already come up lame in game 1. Oh, that was a monster travel.
Yeah, you saw that his feet went dip 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 dip. M7 said regular Ray tier. See there? You see what you're doing?
Bill Russell. Now,
no, he's talking about Steph. I mean,
Steph
I don't know.
Steph's
Steph's the monster. Steph's done too much for me to put him on the same career tier as Ray Allen. I mean,
he's a better player than Ray Allen.
I don't know about that. I don't know if he's
better at shooting. He's better at finishing. He's
not better at finishing.
He's better at passing. He is a better finisher. Just because you can dunk doesn't make you a good finisher.
No, that's true. It's not about that. It's about how many times do you put it in the basket, go into the lane, and you're getting challenged.
Steph,
that's what it's about.
In the league in some of them categories, like all that
among smaller guards. Among smaller guards, yes, he is. Among smaller guards, he is amongst the top finishers in the lane, like every year, all the time. But I don't know if he's overall a better player than Prime Ray. I don't know if he's overall.
He definitely is.
I don't know. I mean, it's not crazy. It's not crazy.
I think it's crazy. I think he's a much better player than Ray Allen.
No.
Ray Allen was never like Steph is the best in his position several years running. Ray Allen was never.
It's hard to compare point guard, shooting guard like that, though. It's just hard. It's just hard. And they came out here in game 1 and punched Golden State in the mouth
without Kawhi Leonard playing well.
Dagger.
Yeah. All right. So now that this game is over, what's the post-mortem?
The post-mortem. Man, I wonder what's Golden State's mindset after this game, though, because you just got beat. They got beat today. They got beat.
Well, they lost. They
didn't give it away. They didn't give it away. They didn't blow a lead. They didn't have 67 turnovers. They got beat.
Mm-hmm. And they were outplayed.
They got outplayed, and you got outplayed when their best player didn't even play well.
And we called it from the beginning that the Raptors were getting better shots than Golden State.
Yeah.
Steph Curry had to make a lot of tough plays to get to his numbers.
Oh, wait a minute. Draymond and Drake is talking trash.
Uh-oh. Is that beginning? Is that what we doing now?
Yeah, they was getting into it. And Drake said, "Hey man, I'll call Jay Prince and this conversation to be over."
I think Drake called him trash.
Huh?
I think Drake called Draymond trash.
He might have, but I think Draymond probably
he said you trash.
Yeah, but the thing of it is Drake could be like, "Hey man, I'll call Jay Prince and it won't be no more conversation." Jay Prince show up and anybody know it's the end of the conversation.
Oh, well, Draymond ain't flexing on Drake. That ain't happening.
He looked like he was trying.
Yeah, he ain't. Nah, he don't want that.
And it's funny though because Draymond's doing very well financially, but he ain't in Drake's financial category.
No,
Like,
no,
boy, you better go sit down somewhere.
no. It's like that Eminem line about hiring poor people to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
he
Siakam,
said you
Siakam
trash.
played out of his mind.
Well, he destroyed Draymond Green
Yeah.
on both sides of the floor.
Yeah. And that's if I was Drake, that's what I say. Don't worry about me. Worry about Pascal. That's who you worry about. Don't talk to
Hmm.
me. You know the big long black boy that was just that scored all over you today. Him. Don't look at me. Look at him.
Is the sound from my monitor coming through?
A little bit, but not so to the
Okay.
point. Yeah, you can barely hear his accent.
He probably like Serge. You speak 4 or 5 other languages.
Yeah. Oh, he probably does. Matumbo spoke a ton of languages too.
But I still need to see one language he spoke.
He spoke them
The
all in
jury's
a
out
gravelly voice.
on
He spoke
language
'em.
number one.
Right.
Well, congrats to the Toronto Raptors on game
Absolutely.
one.
Absolutely.
Home court advantage is a real thing.
Yes, it is. And
This
you
is
can
why
see.
you have to take the regular season seriously.
Yes.
And so Render's asking any game two adjustments that we have in mind. It's interesting that you asked that question because this could have gone worse for the Warriors than it did.
It really could have. This could have been a blowout.
If Serge wasn't shooting horribly, if Van Vliet wasn't panicking in the first, well, most of the game, they really could have been down by a lot more. One adjustment I would make is I would honestly probably not play Boogie Cousins anymore. I think your rotation without Boogie has a better chance than your rotation with Boogie. Unless Boogie maybe give him a game off, but I don't think you can afford those minutes, as Stephen Kerr said himself. Uh, it's tough because the Raptors are playing like the Raptors, and the Warriors are playing like the Warriors, and this is just the result of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily know what you do differently,
Well,
because those gimmick defenses that they're running on these switch offs with Siakam is just not it.
yeah. Well, for me, I definitely try to keep. Anytime they try to run pick and roll with Kawhi and Ibaka, I'm making Ibaka beat me. But like you were saying, he wasn't knocking down shots. So that's definitely if that changes, then you're talking about just kind of flipping everything upside down.
Yeah,
But
it's the
it
playoffs, and you have to take chances. My thing is, Ibaka is an inconsistent shooter
yes,
who can definitely beat you,
well he'd
and
have to.
getting him hot could make the problem worse. So here's my issue with this game. The Warriors have a winning game plan. It just didn't work out today. Like Kawhi Leonard didn't have a great game. They got lit up by Pascal Siakam, who will almost definitely not have more than one more game of this level.
I don't know if he'll have another game. Man, the dude had 32 points, 8 boards, five
Yeah, but
assists, a steal, and 2 blocks,
he
two
had
for
a
three
game
from
like
three
that
point,
earlier in the playoffs too.
14 of 17 from the field.
Yeah, he was something crazy in another game where he had like 29 points and he was like 11 of 12 or something. Like that's his game. Like
Yeah.
Pascal gets hot. And the thing is, because he's so athletic, he gets those looks. So Tim Hamer Jr. is asking if the Raptors swept Golden State, would you be shocked? 100% shocked. I'd be totally shocked. Um, if this
Um,
series
you
doesn't
know,
go at least 6 games, I'd be absolutely shocked. Either way,
I don't know. I don't know that I would be shocked.
you wouldn't be shocked if the Golden State Warriors got swept.
Okay, you say that if you say that in a vacuum, just that statement, then yes, that sounds shocking, right? But based off of what I just watched, that didn't look like that
But they're pretty rusty though, man. Like, okay, here's the one thing I will say: if Iggy's not good to go at 100%, which he needs to be to guard Kawhi Leonard, that's terrible news.
yeah, I I don't know, man. I'm not picking them to get swept, but based off of what I just saw, like I said, Kawhi didn't have a great game. Fred VanVleet didn't have a great game. Serge Ibaka didn't play well either. What they did to Golden State today is something that they can do to Golden State every time they play them,
Yeah.
which is defend and be longer and be more athletic across each position. And that's going to be there each game. The things that weren't there generally are in their favor. I mean, Steph wasn't fantastic from the field, but he was really good. He had 34 points, 4 of 9 from 3-point range. Klay Thompson didn't shoot terribly. He was 8 for 17, 3 for 6 from 3-point range. Draymond had a triple double, even though he missed most of both of his threes, and he had 6 turnovers, which sucks. But for what they bring to the table without Kevin Durant, this is the first time in a long time I've looked at the Warriors and wondered if they had enough. It's the first time because we always talked about them having like a big three and that sort of thing. Right about now, man, they look like they got Curry and Clay and a bunch of role players.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. You don't want to overreact off of one game. But I've from the beginning of the season, I've seen a vulnerability in the Golden State Warriors this year with this particular team. I felt that their bench wasn't as deep as it has been in the past. I felt that they have been pretty lucky when it comes to injuries overall throughout this entire run of theirs. They've been pretty lucky. If you look back at games played for Clay, Steph, Draymond, if you look back at the amount of games that they've played over the past, you know, however long, Steph's missed some games this year and last year. But overall, since they really hit their prominence, they haven't had a lot of major injury issues. Clay hasn't played less than Clay hasn't played less than 73 games in any season in his career since his rookie season. And the rookie season was 66 games. He played every game because that was the strike shortened season or the lockout shortened season. So he's always there. The same thing pretty much with Draymond. So they have been pretty lucky when it comes to that. So that's why I saw some vulnerability because that luck with injuries runs out after a while. They've won a lot. Um, and I believe in the success fatigue thing. So I never picked them to win the championship this year. Now the team that I
Well,
picked
you
to
picked them before the series to win the
no, no,
championship.
no,
Just now.
no, throughout the team that I picked them to pick to beat them didn't make it.
Yeah.
So since they didn't make it, then
So
that's
this
why
is
I
what I was going
picked.
to ask you
Yeah.
earlier. I'm glad we get to come back to this because you picked Milwaukee to beat Golden State.
Hmm.
And I totally get that. And I think that, especially without Kevin Durant, that was a possibility because of the way they match up.
Hmm.
And Toronto beat Milwaukee, but they didn't beat Milwaukee because of just a bad matchup. They beat Milwaukee because of the veteran leadership and Kawhi Leonard playing totally out of his mind throughout the whole playoffs.
And coaching.
And of course, coaching. Absolutely. Absolutely. That goes to the leadership thing. So I was going to ask you, losing Kevin Durant, having a hobbled, out of shape Boogie Cousins, and up until now limping Iguodala, and now maybe not even having Iguodala available. Why would you switch? What is it about Toronto that made you not pick Golden State to
Not
win this series?
No, I did pick
I mean,
Golden
to
State.
make you to what is it about Toronto that made you pick Golden State to win this series?
I expected Toronto to be a little less prepared for this game from an emotional standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm always a little wary of a team that gets to the next level for the first time and winning when they finally break through, right? So the Raptors things is they hadn't been to the finals, right? They'd been there, they'd been one of the best teams in the league for years, but they'd not been to the finals. So they broke through that glass ceiling by getting to the finals. And I wondered a little bit about them being satisfied. And I wondered whether or not they had enough offense outside of Kawhi to beat Golden State. But what it based off of game one, what I underestimated was their overall team defense and the way these parts seem to fit against this team, against Golden State. Like from a matchup standpoint, this length and this athleticism is a problem for Golden State. And the it's I don't know, like I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. But I'm starting to feel like in order for Golden State to beat Toronto, they got to shoot out of their minds without Kevin Durant, of course. Without Kevin Durant. With this team that just ran out there today, they need to shoot really well to win.
So I think what has to happen is they have to figure out Toronto's defense, number
Mhm.
one, because they didn't get good shots all night. Like even when they got shots, they weren't super clean, great looks like Toronto was getting, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, if you just
Toronto
look at the
got
shooting
great
percentage.
looks wire to wire.
Mhm.
So that's number one. They have to get their offense going against Toronto. They got to crack the defense. Because Steph Curry, look, even if Steph plays better, he's not going to play so much better than he played. I mean, he was 14 to 14 from the line, 4 for 9 from 3-point range. He was only 8 of 18 from 2, but he got 14 free throws.
Yeah.
It's about everybody else playing better. I
Mhm.
mean, Draymond still had a triple double. But he got his lunch eaten by Pascal Siakam,
Yeah.
obviously,
You got
both
torched.
ends of the floor.
You got
So
torched.
yeah, he got lit up. He got lit up. Clay was good. See, here's the problem: when you get 50, um, when you get 55 points out of the Splash Brothers, you don't expect to only get single digits out of every single person on the bench, including Boogie Cousins. You know,
Mhm.
like Aaron McKinney was the only person off the bench who was a plus. Everybody else was a minus. Now they lost the game, so that's understandable. But it's the fact that that gives Toronto the flexibility to rest Kawhi Leonard. And if you can't take the lead when Kawhi Leonard is sitting down, that's a losing formula. They have to be able to put something on the floor that makes them play Kawhi more than they're comfortable playing him. The
Mhm.
way, with Giannis, they didn't want to sit Giannis for a long time because the rest of the Bucks weren't playing super well against Toronto. Their second unit wasn't strong enough in certain situations where you get this question of, did you think Giannis should have played more? You want that situation for Kawhi Leonard. And right now, losing Iguodala, it doesn't look like they'll have the depth to have that happen. And I think when you flip it the other way, and Steph Curry has to play 40 minutes a game for the rest of the series, and Klay Thompson has to play 40 minutes a game for the rest of the series, while you have to deal with arrested Kawhi, and you're dealing with all of these great defensive guards for and Siakam, is definitely a serious challenge that Golden State has. They need somebody else to play well.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see what happens when somebody asks Draymond Green what was going on with him and Drake after the game. That's going to be the most entertaining post game interview of the season if he answers.
Yeah, say that again.
I can't wait to see what happens when a reporter asks Draymond Green what was going on with him with the exchange between he and Drake. That's
Oh,
going to be entertaining.
maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. Our chat's talking about the Blazers. Here's the thing: the Toronto Raptors are a better team than the Blazers by every single measure. Like they're
Yes.
literally better in every single way,
Yes.
especially with Nurkic being down.
Especially with
So
Nuggets.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that was one of the biggest reasons that series. But you got to think about it. The Blazers had like 15 plus point lead on the Warriors, like I think in 2 or 3 games of the
hmm
series, and they blew both of those. They blew
But
all
that's
of those
literally
leads.
what happens to every team that's bad at defense.
Yeah.
Every team that's in the playoffs that plays bad defense, they're up, and you're like, how did they choke away the lead? They didn't choke away the lead. They can't
No,
stop anybody.
they don't defend. They don't defend,
Right.
and that's it. So that's what happened. But man, I'm telling you, man, the way the Raptors defended tonight.
Amazing.
Mhm.
And honestly, their offense,
Yeah,
they
but a lot,
and they
a
weren't
lot of
even
the
crisp.
offense,
They had
a
a lot
lot
of
of the,
mistakes.
and a lot of the offense came off of the defense, though, getting intermediate breaks. Siakam got a lot of transition baskets. I'd have to look it up, but he had a lot of
Yeah.
transition baskets. So, um, yeah, man, yeah,
So
we'll see.
Render says Toronto has the defensive capability to stifle those Golden State second half rallies. I
It's not
agree.
even just the defense though, bro. It's they do have the defense, but they
Yeah,
also have they also have a closer and a shutdown guy.
that's what it is.
They got a shutdown guy.
It
So
doesn't favor Golden State to be in a close game against Toronto because Toronto has the better late game player in Kawhi
yes.
Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is better than Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on an individual scoring basis.
Yeah.
And because of what he is defensively, that makes at least one of those guys way worse,
Yeah.
right? Like when you're rotating Danny Green Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard on the perimeter,
Hmm.
you just don't get the looks you normally get.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing
It's
about
just so much
Giannis,
length. It's just so much length.
right?
And from what Gasol doesn't bring you in athleticism, he's like that 2K player who's, when you look at his stats and his lateral movement isn't that high and his flat out speed isn't that high, but he's got like a 95 defensive awareness. So he's just
Mm-hmm.
always in the passing lane.
Mm-hmm.
That was an example of that steal that he got early in
He
the first
saw
half.
that steal
Saw it
a
coming.
good 10 seconds ahead of it.
Yeah, it
Like
saw it
he
coming.
rotated, and if you look at that play, he rotates out, does this surprise double team, immediately head up
Hmm.
like a middle linebacker,
Yeah.
eyes wide, and he saw it and shot to that point before, like to what the weakness that he created by rotating was.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing we talked about before. And you saw the effort too. Like
Yeah.
credit to him. I know he's a bit later in his career now. He's not his
Yeah.
prime self.
What is he, 34?
I don't know his exact age.
He's in
Let's
his
find
30s.
out.
And
But
he's a big. So
and
add
he's played
3
a lot of
years to
playoff
that.
games. So he's played a lot of games.
Yeah,
He's
he's
34.
34. He's 34.
But he's moving great out there.
Yes,
I
he
mean, he
is.
looks like a spring chicken.
Yes.
And a couple of decent post up plays to bail them out. And people forget how much he grew as a post up player. And Golden State doesn't have the individual post up defender to like lock him up. Like Draymond Green, if the game plan was go to Marc Gasol in the post, then Draymond Green would be a great tool. But because he's opportunistically in the post off of
Hmm.
switches just to get you a bucket late in the shot clock, you can't set Draymond Green up against him like that. So it,
I honestly don't think that Draymond would have a whole bunch of success against Marc Gasol in the post. I really don't. He's too big. He's too big and too skilled. His feet are too good, and his touch is too good around the basket. He's got Draymond. He's one of the guys that Draymond would not be able to get away with the undersized low post defense act with.
mhm. So I had Golden State in 6. You had Golden State in
I had
7.
Golden. I no, I had Golden State in 6.
Oh, you had them in 6. Has your prediction changed after the first game?
Yeah, I think Toronto's gonna win this series.
Okay. My prediction has not changed for the game. I'm gonna give Golden State championship credit to say they will make an adjustment. Steve Kerr will make an adjustment. I don't know what that adjustment will be, and I will freely admit that it doesn't look good. Partic- Particularly because Izzy's hurt. Iggy's hurt, and I'm of the people that don't think that Kevin Durant will play at all.
Yeah, I don't think so
And
either.
obviously, when we made these predictions earlier, Kevin Durant was healthy, Iguodala was healthy. I never factored Boogie into the equation of Golden State. I thought he was a why not kind of game plan. In this situation, even though I said earlier I probably would not play Boogie a whole lot because of the risk, I think they are almost in a situation where they have to.
I was looking when you said that, man. I went and I looked down. I'm like, okay, dude, Jordan Bell was so trash in the 12 minutes that he played today. And
So here's the two sides of it, because I think this is a tough situation. I don't think this is an open and shut. Do it this way, you're right. Do it that way, you're wrong. I think this is one of those cases where you make a decision and you hope it turns out right.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit him and you lose, they go, "Why didn't you play Boogie?" And if
Yep.
you play him and you lose, they go, "Why'd you play Boogie?"
Oh yeah, no, you can't pay
So,
attention to that. You
well,
just
I'm
gotta.
saying, because you don't know what Boogie's going to give you, that's the situation. That's the reality. So, on the side of playing Boogie, you have obviously he can give you a lot of points and great passing and spread the floor. Okay, that's good, right?
Mhm.
If he plays to his strengths. On the other side of it, your team hasn't been playing with Boogie for quite some time. This rotation hasn't played with Boogie at all. Other people might be out of rhythm because of the minutes that Boogie is taking away from them. And defensively, he's giving up threes and giving you twos. Oh, Andrew Bogut no longer exists, Alex
Yeah,
Campbell. And he
yeah.
said
He
he said
he
Bogut.
didn't even play. He got DNP coach's decision.
Yeah, and Andrew Bogut he's the player formerly known as Andrew Bogut. That man is old. He has had a lot of injuries. I don't think you want him out there against the Toronto Raptors, particularly if they go small and they run Ibaka and Siakam. That's just ugly.
Yeah, but they're in a place. They're in a place, man, where they have to. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the adjustments are. Alex Campbell said taking Gasol away. I don't think Bogut is physically capable of taking Gasol away at this point.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Gasol's playing too many minutes for that. Um, Render said he thinks it comes down to how the Toronto Raptors play Boogie. I think that's actually a great analysis because if you don't overreact to Boogie Cousins and you just treat him like some, chubby dude coming off an injury who might hit a shot or two, then the dimensions of the court don't change.
right.
Don't double him in the post. If he gets two, fine. In fact, it's almost a good thing if he gets two because he's going to spend a lot of energy doing that. He's not going to have it for you on a defensive end.
Hmm.
You know, Bleacher Report officially confirming that Drake called Draymond Green trash. That's gonna be fun.
Yes, I told you. I told you.
So yeah, so Render, I'm definitely with you on that one. Don't overreact to Boogie Cousins because the thing is, unless Boogie Cousins is going to give you 34 points and 12 rebounds and 4 assists like he would in his prime, it's not a concern.
Yeah.
10 points from Boogie Cousins, who cares? You get 10 points from. I would rather 10 points from Boogie Cousins slowing the game down, playing out of the post, only getting 2 points. Don't foul him, and you know, on the other end, know that you're going to eat him up in the pick and roll like they did virtually every single play. Like every single play in the pick and roll, they got something. They got a good look, they got a shot, they got a layup, they got something. So, that's not sustainable for Boogie Cousins. I don't think Boogie can be effective enough both in tempo and in defense to counterbalance what he will likely give you on the offensive end unless he returns to full form, which requires basically an overhaul from what they've done so far in the playoffs. Um, Kawhi looked timid all game from Fats Demand. I actually disagree. I think Kawhi was a little off in the first 2.5 quarters, but in crunch time, Kawhi made some serious plays, some gutsy, high intelligence plays that, and we called it when he was playing poorly, that they were still up and he would not play poorly in the fourth quarter. And I think that prophecy came to fulfillment.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. The finals is always so interesting because of how it is just this unfolding story game by
Yeah.
game, and so
I'll
I
tell you
mean,
what, the number one thing that has to change,
mhm.
Draymond.
Yeah,
It's on him.
those mad sprints that he has towards the basket after rebounds when he takes the ball the length of the floor and he forces the defense to come to him. He opens up corner shooters where he finishes and gets an and one. He literally he makes himself a playmaker. And when he does that, he takes a lot of pressure off of Clay and Steph. And that wasn't present in this game at all.
No. And now I'm curious if that was a matter of rust, not having his legs and wind together after a long layoff, or if it was something that Toronto did. He did get 10 rebounds, which is a good amount, but how much energy did he have to expend rotating, guarding Siakam, and on the offensive side of the ball in the half court, there's no easy matchups for Draymond Green, including Kyle Lowry. Like literally, there's nobody that can guard him. That's just an easy day for Draymond. So, and he had the opposite on against the Blazers, where there was nobody on the Blazers getting in his way,
Mhm.
and that's a big change of pace for him. But he has to figure it out and get hot and provide some spark in order for them to turn this around. And I agree with you, Drake. The Iggy injury is massive for them, and I called that before the series started in the chat hangout. And sorry for the Warriors that it turned out that way, but Iggy was coming up limp a few times throughout the playoffs, and the finals is more games against a more athletic, better defensive opponent, and the worst offensive matchup you've had in the entire playoffs in Kawhi Leonard. So
Yep. Yep. I'd agree. I mean that the Iggy injury is gonna it changes it mostly on one side of the floor, but that's a very important part because of what his primary defensive assignment will be when he's on the floor. So um yeah, I mean, I just I can't. I'm literally I can't wait for game two to see
super excited for game two.
what adjustments are being made. Um, yeah, I don't know. Fats the man is saying that the Warriors need to force the ball into Danny Green's hands more. That's pretty difficult because that comes down to the handle and the decision making of your playmakers. You can send a double and a trap to try to take the ball out of Kawhi and Kyle Lowry's hands. But a quality ball handler and playmaker is going to keep the dribble alive. And when you send a double, they're going to make you pay for it. And then smart cutters and players who move smartly without the ball are going to go to places where they can then hurt you when you send that trap. And you don't want Danny Green with the ball in his hands if he's in the ball in the if he's getting the ball in the corner and his man is
Right,
already
right,
left.
right,
That
right.
ain't that ain't what you want, you
Or
know.
if he's hot, and that's the other thing. Danny
Right,
Green's one of those guys where in the corner you expect him to hit most of his shots. On the arc, it can be hit or miss. But when
right.
Danny Green's on, he'll kill you. In the
Yes,
finals, he's done it
he
before.
will. Yeah,
He'll
and
kill you.
he looked confident and smart
Hmm.
today. With his decision making, he didn't look hesitant at all. And he had been struggling up and down with his shooting, but he didn't look like that at all today, just with energy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think that we're gonna go ahead and bounce out because we do still have to prepare for a show tomorrow. And
Absolutely.
he and I both got some stuff that other stuff we got to do.
Absolutely. So, and you guys can type this in the chat as we sign off. Quick question: how did you guys like this format? Did you enjoy yourselves? I saw we had a lot of people rocking with us in the chat throughout the entire game. Definitely appreciate that. And if you
Absolutely.
guys like this, we will definitely be doing this for other events when the opportunity arises.
Yes, yes, that's 100, 100. So I appreciate you guys all as always. Thanks very much for that, Tim, and everybody else who enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, make sure you click that thumbs up. Um, and also, we can do this format for other stuff. Like we can do this format for UFC events, boxing, whatever. We can do it for those, and we'll see. I know a lot of you guys are not combat sports fans, but I have a feeling that listening to me talk about somebody getting knocked out
Might be
might
fun
be
time.
might be something you might enjoy. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So just keep it in mind. So I appreciate y'all watching as always. God bless and peace.